Defense made a motion for a mistrial. Prosecutor was up to some fuckery. Potentially damaging evidence, no basis for it. The judge specifically said, do not ask that question. Do not use that as evidence. She walked right down the path and asked the question. It may be over on Tuesday morning. Batman Bruce Wayne bitch snitch. Gerald Brooks, your constitution does not apply to me because I'm a sovereign citizen, a traveler on the land, I'm the Moorish Empire or whatever, bitch snitch. Because they're so fucking absurd. If you want to be a sovereign citizen, just do yourself a favor first. Go to YouTube here and just get every sovereign citizen that's ever been before. Find me one that won. God dang, you're right. Don't go down this. It's not the path. Don't have time for stupidity. Some clever dick on the internet didn't find the great loophole in all of the world's law. Bitch snitch. God dang, you're right. God dang, you're right. Traveler on the land. God dang, you're right. Moorish Empire. Traveler on the land. Bitch snitch. Moorish Empire. God dang, you're right. Traveler on the land. Bitch snitch. Late evening U.S. people.
What do you got?
I think I can prove to a judge that both of these men had the mens rea.
What the hell is a mens rea?
It's a legal term the lawyers use. It just means the intention to commit a crime.
Okay, come on, let's go.
Mens rea?
Put the cuffs on him.
How could we have gotten mens rea? We take blood? Can you do it without taking blood? We both use condoms. How is this possible? I want to see a doctor. Can I have an independent blood test?
Money!
I feel sick.
What are you doing?
Mens rea!
Into the mud, scum queen!
Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, everybody. Whoever you are, wherever you are, whoever you're with, whatever you're doing, however good it feels, however many times you're going to do it, why you're doing it in the first place. I don't care about all those things. I just care that you're here with me, Legal Vices, on this little channel I like to call Legal Vices, and I am so glad you're here because today is part 2 of day 4 of the LEILANI Simon Toddler in a Garbage Dump Murder Trial. Yeah, not the greatest of trials as far as, jokes and levity and weirdness, but it's there's going to be a whole lot of justice heaped out, I believe. It's getting worse. Every minute of testimony that's given is worse than the previous minute for her. That's why we've got our little like and subscribe poll up today, but we will get to that in good time. First, we have the announcement that we like to make every day. The streak has continued. We are continuing the emotional support potato pig dog cam. Today is officially day 58. We have unleashed the emotional support potato pig dog cam 58 times. Well, I guess yesterday is 58. Today is going to be 59 or it's going to be 0. It depends. That's it. Let's see if we will unlock the emotional support potato pig dog cam for day 59. That's entirely up to you. If you want to do it, do it. If you don't, don't. It's all on you. Anything else we need to talk about? This is a pretty quick one today. Nope. All right, then. We will look at the like and subscribe poll today, which is just a little poll to remind all of you to do those YouTube-y things and hit the like and subscribe button. We have, for your choice of things to do today, is what are your feelings about this trial so far? We're approaching the halfway mark. Now it's time for you to start thinking. It's time for you to start analyzing the evidence and wondering if you're going to be voting guilty or not guilty. So that's your question. That's the question for you today. What are your feelings about the trial so far? She's guilty? Not guilty? Dude, really? And so let's see which one of those. Let's see which one of those answers you pick, because that's your question today. To like and subscribe, which is again just to remind you to do those YouTubey things and hit that like button and hit that subscribe button. And as always, if you are still subscribed or think you're subscribed, just make sure you are still subscribed, because YouTube likes to. They give with one hand, they giveth, in the other they taketh away. And they're on a little bit of a taketh away spree right now. So counteract that, double check just to make sure you're still subscribed. And with that, I believe we officially have all of the pre-game stuff out of the way, which leaves just a very quick update. Tomorrow will be Friday. We'll be doing whatever's left of day 4 and probably into a little bit of day 5. And then I will be off on a camping trip for the weekend, but we will do a Saturday live from the campground, probably very late Friday evening for US people, a good old-fashioned mukbang. We're eating way too much Korean food because you asked for it. You hit the goal that we set last Sunday. So that's it. All right, let us bring up day 4.2 of the LEILANI Simon murder trial. Where's the judge? Oh, there's the judge. Fine. Right, that's all squared away. We have the emotional support potato pig dogs, so waiting to see if they'll get their moment in the sun today. And we have the judge. We're going to put the closed captions on. Boom. And we're going to boost this up to 1.25 speed, as always. And if any super chats or membership things come in, we will read those at appropriate times. Lulls in the trial, breaks, natural pauses, or if they just take too long to sort their shit out. Oh, look, speak of the devil. Yet again, starting us out is become a thing now. Matilda, all the way from the Netherlands, starting us out with €2. Thank you so much, Matilda, and good afternoon to you. Or is it still officially morning? It should be afternoon, right? You'd think I'd know by now. Thank you very much, Matilda, for kicking us off with the €2 super chat. And we shall continue. Where did we go? Where'd the button go? All right. We are in place. I'm going to readjust myself to put myself in a better position. There we go. I am not Judge Tammy Stokes. I am Legal Vices, Judge Lawrax, presiding. Hey, Paralegal is what's up? Waiting for Jeff. I am always 2 steps ahead. Speech with a panda mask. Okay. I don't even know what that means, but okay. Here we go. We just finished taking the testimony of the boyfriend and who's the other dude? Was he the apartment manager? No, he was the employer. He was the employer of LEILANI Simon, her boyfriend, and her brother. Now we've got a new. Oh, I forgot to read Matilda's thing. Hello, Vices in chat. Hello, hello over there in the Netherlands. I actually forgot to read it.
Okay, let the record reflect that Ms. Simon has rejoined her counsel at counsel's table. The state is present at their table as well. Anything we need to take up before bringing in the jury?
I need to take up my rum and
All right, thank
coke.
you. Please bring in the jury.
I don't know why I felt like a little bit of a rum and coke today. Oh, I guess I could while the jury is coming in. Last night we finished off the bottle of bad whiskey, the Baseball Hall of Fame Cooperstown bourbon that's been aged a whole 6 months. We finished that off last night. So now if we get to the second tier of accomplishments, the first, of course, is unleashing the emotional sport potato pig dogs. The next level of achievement is bad whiskey. I am down to a really bad whiskey. This is the last bottle of genuinely bad whiskey I have. It's in the coolest bottle ever, but it is a bad whiskey. I bought 2 of these about 8 years ago. I still have one completely unopened. It's the coolest bottle, but it's really, really, really bad. So bad that me and my friend that opened it originally, opened the first bottle. We decided we were going to mix it with Coke. We just ruined the Coke. It's bad. It is. And I'm big in it for this one. The new bad whiskey for the day is this bottle of duty-free whiskey from Japan. Come on, focus. Why are you not focusing? All right, that'll be good. Come on, don't focus on me. Hey, this is riveting, isn't it? Riveting stream. Yeah. All right, we'll just hold it back here. This is Nika whiskey from the Nika distillery. It's in a metal samurai topped bottle. It's just purely duty free. It's really, really bad. It's just a gimmick. It's a pretty damn cool gimmick, but yeah, it's not great. That's the new bad whiskey that we will get through. All right, enough of me. Enough bad whiskey. The jury's coming in. Let's go.
All right, very good. Mr. Dean, you may call your next witness.
Melissa Bray.
Melissa Bread? Crystal Skull vodka. That's Dan Aykroyd's vodka. That's actually pretty good. That's actually a decent vodka. It's too expensive.
The evidence you shall give the court and jury in the trial of this issue shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God.
Oh, absolutely. Wow. That's a definitive answer. Oh, this is Missy.
Mr. Dean.
Hello. Could you please introduce yourself to the jury?
Hi, I'm Melissa Bray.
And do you live in?
Oh no. Is this the friend I believe this is Missy or Misty, the friend that she allegedly got the Oragel from.
In the Savannah area?
Yes.
The friend who's going to testify. I haven't seen that bitch in months. Oh, this should be good.
Not the street address, but the general area.
Ogeechee Road in Azalea.
I'm going to ask you, I can hear you, but I'm not sure that everybody can.
Okay.
So could you just, closer to the microphone be good.
Is that good?
Yeah,
Yep.
That's much better. Thank you. Can you repeat your answer to that last question? What general area do you live in?
Highway 17.
And you mentioned Ogeechee Road.
Yes, Ogeechee Road.
And then I think you said Azalea as well.
Azalea Trail Park.
Now, how long have you lived there for?
I have lived there for about 4, maybe going on 5 years.
And in those 4, maybe going on 5 years, have you
what are
lived
they?
in the same residence at Azalea the whole time?
Yes.
Do you, or at some point, did you know the defendant, Miss Simon?
I met her at my job,
And what job was that?
at the job that I used to have, which was Bojangles.
Was she working there as well?
Yes.
And is that how you met her?
Yes.
Roughly, how long did y'all work together at the same Bojangles?
Probably around 3 or 4 months, if that.
And do you have any nicknames that you go by?
Yep.
What nickname or nicknames do you have?
Missy.
Missy?
Missy.
Missy?
Exactly.
Anybody ever call you Misty with a T?
No.
Do you remember?
She had a serious lisp. I swore she was saying Mithy. Methy. Maybe they call her Methy.
Probably around 3 or 4 months, if that.
And do you have any nicknames that you go by?
Yep.
What nickname or nicknames do you have?
Missy.
Missy?
Missy.
Missy?
Exactly.
All right.
Anybody ever call you Misty with a T?
No.
That's going to be important, people. For those of you that
do you
haven't been
remember
following the
the
trial, nobody calling her Misty is going to be very, very important.
Where an FBI agent came out to your house at Azalea to talk to you about when was the last time you had contact with the defendant?
Yes.
Do you remember that FBI agent's name?
Yes.
What was his or her name?
Brad Snyder.
Okay. And where did y'all meet and talk?
He came to my house.
All right. Where at your house did y'all interact?
In my parking lot, in the driveway.
Okay. I want you to go back, kind of take yourself back mentally to the day of that conversation, the first conversation you had with Brad, okay?
Mm-hmm.
At that time, how long had it been, roughly, since you had seen the defendant, Ms. Simon?
How long had it been since I talked to him the first time in my driveway or at my job, Bojangles at the time?
I mean, where was the first time that you talked?
The first time I met
Brad?
him, and I think Miss Lemons was at my job,
Okay.
Bojangles.
The first time that you talked to them, and thank you for clarifying.
Mr.
The first time that you talked to
Bojangles.
them, did they ask you how long it had been or when the last time had been that you saw the defendant?
Yep. The defendant called her Misty.
And at that time, about how long had it been since you had last seen her?
I'm guessing roughly around maybe a month or so. Roughly.
It had maybe been roughly a month.
Roughly, yeah.
Do you remember telling them it had been like July of 2022 that you last saw her?
Yes.
Okay. And were you telling them the truth at that time? Was that accurate?
Yes.
Okay. And that was closer in time than we are now, right?
Right.
Okay. What were the circumstances of your last contact with the defendant? First of all, was the time that you were telling them about then, is that the last time you ever had contact with her? I mean, in other words, have you had any contact with her since the police began talking to you?
No.
Okay. So then that was the last time you had had any contact with her?
Yes.
All right. Now, what were the circumstances of that last contact with the defendant? Why did you all have contact with each other?
Because she came to my house around 12 midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning, asking if we had any money, me and my husband, for gas, because her vehicle stalled on that back road behind me. I can't remember the name of the road right now. And we didn't have any money, but I was going to go to my stepfather's and not my stepfather's, my father-in-law, and ask for one of his gas cans to see if he had gas in it, and if he didn't, if we could take it up to the Inmark to put gas in it.
And right now you're describing something that occurred in like July of 2022.
Yes.
Okay. So what happened with the gas can?
We got the gas can from our property manager's yard because we had called her to ask her instead. And she said, yes, there should be one right there in the yard.
No.
And me,
He's not the grandma.
Melanie, and my husband walked up to Inmark to go get the gas.
And what happened to the gas can from that point?
Of course, when we got there, she said that someone was coming to get her.
God damn it.
To take her back to put gas in her vehicle that was on that road. So me and my husband, we left, okay? And I told her that I needed the gas can back.
Sometime after that, did you send her some text messages asking for the gas can back?
Yes, I did.
Did you get a response to those text messages?
I did not.
Okay, there's a lot of questions here in chat. JK, bug dang it. Mary Jane is like, she's not Misty. She's Misty. She's got to be Misty. The story is, I keep wanting to call this bitch Sarah Boone. LEILANI Simon told the police that she got her Oragel. She went up to get Oragel from her good old buddy Misty, who used to work with her at Bojangles. Well, Misty has never been called Misty. Her nickname is Missy because her name is Melissa, not Melista. So she was talking about this person. So not only did she misname her friend who she went to get Oragel from, she not only misnamed her, but she also never talked to her, hadn't seen her for like 3 months before this happened, never got Oragel from her, and just lied about everything. So yeah, that's the story. She's Missy, who LEILANI Simon called Misty and then lied about meeting. So that's the story.
Get a response at all until actually, no, I did not get a response at all.
Okay, so let me just ask you about that. Was that those text messages to the defendant asking to get the gas can back? Did you ever have any in-person contact with her after that?
No.
Okay, and again, this all happened in like July of 2022.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I would like to approach with what I've marked as, well, let me ask you this. Did you show those text messages to Brad, the FBI agent?
Yes, I did.
Okay, he got to look at them.
Brad. Isn't Brad just like the best FBI name ever? Of course his name is
I'd
Brad.
like to approach with what I marked as States Exhibit 35. Do you recognize that?
Yes.
Okay. Now, is that a Google Maps screenshot showing the route to get to your residence, the Zelle Mobile Home Plaza?
Yes, it does.
Does it fairly represent the route that you have to take to get to your place?
Yes, it does.
Your Honor, I would introduce this as State's Exhibit 35.
No objection.
Thank you, Mr. Parse. It is admitted without objection.
Elsie Mara says, Frau Blucher, damn it. Just like 3 days ago, I took off my horse whinnying button off my deck here. Dang it. There, how's that?
All right. Do you see that main road at the top there that I'm highlighting with the little arrow?
Mhm.
Is that Ogeechee Road?
They'd like you to say yes or no. The
yes.
reporter's taking everything down.
Yes.
And that red arrow coming off of Ogeechee Road, does that reflect the turn that you make to get into Azalea?
Yes.
Okay, and is that right next to the Chevron?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Now, this second arrow here, does this represent a right turn that you have to make to get to your house?
Yes, it does.
Do you live on a dead end?
Yes, I do.
Is this
your life in a dead
that
end?
lower red arrow
Yes, it
showing
is.
that right turn there? Does that take you onto your dead end?
The lower red arrow? Yes.
This arrow here.
Mhm.
All right. So that's a right turn takes you onto the dead end street that you live on, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Is there any other way to get to your house by car?
No.
One moment, please. Your Honor.
All right. Whilst nothing is happening, I guess we can just.
Was there ever a time where she came and met up with you in the middle of the night to get Orajel from you?
No.
No? Saying that never happened?
I'm saying it never happened.
No further questions?
Well, that was to the point, wasn't it? Come on. Let's hear your great cross-examination on this one, defense counsel.
Good morning, Ms. Bray.
Good morning.
I want to walk up and look at that
Oh,
map.
it's bow tie guy.
As I understand it,
Hey,
this
bow
is
tie.
Ogeechee Road.
Right.
This is I guess that's a left turn. And the second arrow goes down there. Where is your residence in this area?
I am, let's see,
Do you mind showing me up there so everybody can see?
sure. I should be probably somewhere either this or up underneath these trees.
Okay, thank you. And is that a Chevron station that you mentioned?
Yes.
That, for the record, is that? Looks like a big square to me.
Yes.
And you live in the Azalea Mobile Home Park.
Yes, sir.
And you talked about knowing LEILANI Simon. Do you know Daniel Youngkin?
No, I do not.
Have you ever hung out with LEILANI Simon socially?
No, I have not.
Now, it's now October 2024. And the events that are important to hear are October 2022. How clearly do you remember what happened back in October 2022 in your life?
Clearly, as in, what do you mean?
Well, who you saw, where you went, dates and times and things like that.
Ah, this is the old defense switching tactics thing. With the boyfriend, it was, well, how come you can't remember? How come you can't remember what you did that night 2 years ago? How come you can't remember what street you drove down after going to the dentist 2 years ago? How come you can't remember what time you went to bed that night? Now they've switched tactics with this witness bill. Well, how could you possibly remember what you were doing 2 years ago? How could you possibly remember who you were meeting 2 years ago? How could you possibly remember the names of people you associated with socially 2 years ago? They've totally switched their tactics. See that? Look for those things. You'll see those little tactics. Then, I mean, by little, I mean 180 degrees tactical changes. From this witness remembers too much. We have to discredit them by showing they can't remember everything. This witness doesn't remember anything. We have to discredit him by saying that only an idiot couldn't remember things. So there we go. And of course, Audrey says, was Melissa really doing coke? Well, see, that was the thing. That was Sarah Boone's argument during the interrogation videos. If you saw those, they were like, well, Misty, who's actually Missy, says she hasn't seen you in months. Well, she's on crack. She can't remember who was there and who wasn't. That was LEILANI's reasoning. That was her explanation for why Missy couldn't remember the Oragel conversation, was because she was on crack.
I am not that good with dates and times,
I'm not either.
but certain events, just like anybody else, certain events stand out. Considering the fact that I had to send her text message after text message because the gas can was that of my property managers, and I didn't want to get in trouble. That is going to be something that I remember.
I think those are all the questions I have. Thank you.
That was, yeah, he's like, yeah, I ain't going to get what I want out of this witness. Next.
No, Your Honor.
Ma'am, you may step down and you are excused.
It just keeps getting worse for dear little Leilani, doesn't it? Not one of these witnesses is helping her, and her lawyers seem to just be making it worse.
Okay.
And I wish I was drunk with
Mr.
I
Dean, is your other witness ready?
ice cubes sticking in my nose. Thank you very much. And also,
Your Honor, this is going to be a longer witness. I would ask that we take our break now. If it's okay with that?
Okay, as we discussed. This is going to be at the time that we take the lunch break, ladies and gentlemen.
wow, they took a 15-minute break and then they questioned a witness for 15 minutes. Now they're going to take an hour and a half lunch. Cool for us. That just means we get to move on through at our breakneck 1.25 speed. All right. Also, I wish I was drunk later. I somehow unstarted and lost the message. He also said, hey, how are we, lads and lasses? Hope all is well. As always, it is well. We are doing well. And I hope you are too. Irish, I was drunk. Hope everything is perfectly awesome over there in your neck of the woods on the Emerald Isle, as they call it. Straubs, we'll put you on camera, maybe. I don't think they want to see you today. They don't want to see you very much. All right, we're going to skip through. He said passive aggressively. All right, we're going to skip through the lunch break here. Shut up, dog. Straubs, what? I'll tell you what, if you stop barking, I'll give you a snack. If you keep barking, it'll be no snacks for you. Let's zoom through lunch here. Whew, that was fast. Judge Dionne Warwick. She does look like Dionne Warwick, doesn't she? Wow. Dang, you're not wrong. Holy cow. All right. Let's get to, she does look like Dionne Warwick. Holy crap. I never noticed that. Huh.
Mr. Dean.
I would like to revisit the admissibility of the nature of the defendant's relationship with Craig, the drug dealer. And the reason that I'm asking to do that is because we believe that the defense has, I mean, I've always thought that it was an issue, but if it wasn't, it is now.
Okay, this is interesting. You get a snack, and you get one too, Straubs. Yoda, even though you didn't do anything. All right. This is interesting because they tried to bring in the nature of the sexual relationship between Leilani and the drug dealer, Red / what was his name, Craig. They wanted to bring that up. They wanted to bring in the schmexy text messages. The judge said, nope, can't bring up the nature of her skinship with the drug dealer. But now for some reason, he's saying it's relevant. They've kicked the door open. So I think now it's relevant. We need to readdress this again. And I think he's going to say, because of the way the defense continued to harp on Brian and the drugs and where they got the drugs and her staying out late with the drug dealer and not coming home. I think he's going to say that kicked the door open. So that'll be interesting to see if I'm right and feel competent against Stringer Bell all the way from The Wire with a $5. What's up, Stringer? With 2 dogs that may rival my own in cuteness. Nah, just kidding, dogs. They're a distant 3rd and 4th, but hey. All right. Give Strawberry a snack, damn it. I did. We're out of snacks. Yes, Danny was her boyfriend that was on the stand yesterday for us. All right. No daily quick bites, please. No spoilers. Make them after things happen. Let's go.
By virtue of some of the text messages that the defense showed to Danny Youngkin and questioned him about, and some of the suggestions that were made in that line of questioning. The text messages were shown to him, and he was asked about them to suggest that on some of these prior nights, and perhaps on October 4th as well, that what she was doing was picking up drugs for the both of them, and what he was doing is impatiently waiting for her to get home with drugs for the both of them to use.
Yeah,
that was a clear suggestion.
Oh, I
As
feel
to,
competent.
The October 1st text messages and some of the October 4th text messages. Now, I think they did this in part because they kind of misread what these text messages signify in Defense 1, which I put in the State's Exhibit something. What they show is the defendant out having, and Mr. Young can kind of testify to this, although he claimed not to know exactly what she was doing. Maybe
I meant to mute the microphone, but I muted my earphone, and then I killed a mosquito on the microphone.
And here I'm talking about State's Exhibit 83, the Craig messages show that she was not out getting drugs for the both of them, and he was not at home waiting for her to come home with drugs for the both of them to use. She was out visiting her paramour, Craig. Again, they put these messages into issue. We weren't admitting any of these night of October 1 messages where the defendant says, bet it'll be before 3 a.m. and I see you. You can go out and do what you want tomorrow night. Can't come in and lay down at 2 a.m. Just go out and fuck around and don't ask me or tell me shit. They're the ones that put these into evidence. We need to be able to prove what all this was about.
Well, hell yeah.
Get around the suggestion that they've made about what Danny was doing in sending those messages.
Absolutely, they need to come in. I knew it. Dang, I feel good. I feel good when I have the same ideas and the same outlook as these famous TV lawyers here. I'm just an unfrozen caveman lawyer in Korea, but hey, I know what I'm talking about. And this is just evidence to you that I am, in fact, the greatest law fluencer on the internet, and am a competent actual practicing lawyer. All right, let's get it. I'm going to light myself up a cigar because that made me so happy.
On October 1 and what he was up to on the night of October 4th. Remember, we say he's just home waiting for her to finish this trip so that they can go to bed. And they were suggesting that he's home impatiently waiting for drugs because he's going to stay up. And
nope, he's impatiently waiting for her to finish smashing her drug
what
dealer.
Exactly what's going on is now at issue. I want to point the court back to State's Exhibit 83, page 9, line 123. Does the court have a copy?
I'm saying Madam Clerk can hand it up. Okay. Once again, Mr. Dean, which page?
Page 9.
Okay.
123. That and the
you tell him,
messages,
Jamie Dutton. You tell him.
These are in UTC time. So to get to Eastern Standard Time for these messages, you subtract 4 hours at this time of year. So line 123, it says it's at 7:23 a.m. on October 1st. You would back off 4 hours. It's at 4:23 a.m. on October 1st, in which he's referring to this sexual encounter that just happened.
Thank you, Linda.
So that is what was going on between them in the early morning hours of October 1st, 2022, when Danny was sending these messages to her, urging her to come home so that they could go to sleep, as he testified to. We think it's very likely that she wasn't just getting drugs from Craig on the night of the 4th at this point. Beyond that,
what's
she's
the
there for the GPS evidence will show that she's there for 10 minutes. Doesn't take 10 minutes to buy some drugs from Mr. Craig. And so in any case, I think they've thrown it into issue, and we think it ought to come in at this point.
Okay. So State's Exhibit 83 has not been admitted into evidence.
No, I haven't offered it into evidence because the court has to this point excluded the messages and the general subject matter.
And I want to be sure that, okay, so it's not in evidence. It has been excluded thus far. And specifically, you want the unredacted copy to come in.
Oh, hell
There
yeah.
is no redacted
Well,
copy.
there is no redacted.
And I-
Would
and
you
I-
like it to come in without redaction?
Absolutely, because to redact it would be to redact out the relevant evidence that we're seeking to introduce. I mean, it's a little salacious, but it's the facts of the case.
Oh, yeah.
She
Get all the
I didn't
salacious.
Write these messages. I didn't
Make
give them
trials
this
great
credit.
again.
This is the evidence. Sometimes it's a little unseemly. Murder cases are like that.
Thank you, Mr. Dean. Mr. Hilliard?
Your Honor, absolutely everything Mr. Dean just said has already been litigated. Number one. Number two, we didn't open the door to anything having to do with Craig. He doesn't like the fact, he's right. He's absolutely right. He could have asked Mr. Youngin about these text messages, but he didn't. Okay?
Oh, wait.
I did, and he didn't like
He
it.
literally just gave the my cousin Vinny defense, didn't he?
Thank you, Mr. Dean. Mr. Hilliard?
He literally just gave
Your
it.
Honor, absolutely everything Mr. Dean just said has already been litigated.
He did.
Everything that guy just said is bullshit. Thank you.
Except it worked for
Number
my
one.
cousin Vinny.
Number two, we didn't open the door to anything having to do with Craig. He doesn't like the fact, he's right. He's absolutely right. He could have asked Mr. Youngin about these text messages, but he didn't. Okay? I did, and he didn't like that. Two different animals. But finally,
He couldn't ask about them. But you did, dumbass.
the Supreme Court of the state of Georgia agrees with me on this one. Harris versus State decided June 22nd, 2022. Supreme Court case number S22A0092. It's about a 155-page opinion, Judge. And it has to do with basically the salacious sexual text that Mr. Dean's talking about. And it directly on point says these do not come in. It's not relevant. It doesn't help prove anything. It's just to get into the salacious aspects of the case and to try and ask the jury to judge this case of character or character defects rather than the evidence in the case.
Hey, if the drug dealer came
Court's
in,
ruling was right the
go to
first
the
time.
text.
Nothing's changed. I'm sorry Mr. Dean believes that, but the facts haven't changed of the case. So the court was right the first time, and the Supreme Court of Georgia agrees with me on this one.
Okay, Mr. Dean,
May I address the Harris case, Your Honor?
you can.
It is a long opinion, and I've read all of it. I don't know about my counterpart.
Oh, zing!
The holding in Harris.
Oh, Lord. He's like, I read it all. Just based on what I've heard, I don't think my learned opponent there has read it. Yeah. Oh, that was a little bit of a zinger there. I read it. Don't think he really has, but I know what I'm talking about. Listen to me, Judge.
Was about a broad swath of 404B type evidence about the defendant, who was alleged to have intentionally left his child in a hot car, having a motive to do so, because as evinced by all these text messages and things like that between him and women, and in some cases underage girls online, and his having visited prostitutes and things like that, I think,
Yoink.
over a period of a couple months. Now, the holding in which the Georgia Supreme Court said it was an abuse of discretion to allow some of that evidence in, it was as to some of it. As to the older evidence further in time away from the crime, in the opinion, I think the opinion actually supports us, because where they start from is, look, a lot of this stuff was admissible. Some of the more recent things closer in time to the crime, but the state went overboard here, and the trial court allowed them to do it. If you read that opinion and you kind of compare the timing, nature, and volume of the evidence that we're seeking to get in here to what the state did in Harris, the court will see very clearly that we are well on the right side of the line here. And there is, especially there never was any chance that this would happen, especially now. There is no reviewing court, certainly not the Georgia Supreme Court, that would find an abuse of discretion for allowing this evidence in at this point, when the defendant has introduced text messages from Daniel Youngkin to her, in which he's urging her to come home. What he was urging her to come home from, whether he understands it or not, is from the relationship, the relationship keeping her out and awake all night and affecting his ability to sleep.
Say
and
tryst.
They put these in, and they've suggested, and even point blank asked him, insinuated that he's impatiently waiting for her to bring drugs home because he wants to use the drugs. We need to be able to prove that no, she was out banging the drug dealer, and he just wanted her to come home so they could go to sleep together. That is where we were at right now. And this evidence should come in.
I knew he would do it. I knew he would get there. He's the relationship. He's like, yeah, he was just banging the drug dealer. Boom! Drop the bang hammer. Woo-hoo.
At this point, I feel very strongly about that.
Mr. Hilliard, I'm going to step away from the bench and take a look at what we have, but I'm going to allow you to go ahead.
One could say the defense banged that door wide open.
I was going to say, Judge, I don't see the drug dealer on the witness list. I don't know what Mr. Dean's talking about. He's talking about his interpretation of something his witness has already testified to. He can make that argument in closing, unless he wants to bring in Mr. Weston or whoever they are and put them on the witness stand. So what he's actually talking about is his interpretation of something, which is for argument's sake.
I understand. And I'm going to step away because I feel it can go on for a while. And I'm going to take a look at the case and take it under advisement for a few minutes. Let's figure 15, 20 minutes at this point, and then I'll come back out. All right, we're in recess.
Woo woo! All right, I need 15 minutes to think about this. What the judge means is I need 15 minutes to type up my decision to let the sexy messages come on in. Oh, that was a great catch by the prosecutor, greatly argued by him. And the defense lawyer did what he could. But damn, he's like, yeah, my boy thought he was waiting for her to come back from the drug dealer. Well, he was waiting for her to come back from the drug dealer, but they were just banging. They were just knocking boots. They weren't doing no drug deals. Dang. All right. That was good. I like that. Yeah. Oh, fun. All right. Let's see where we are here while we fast forward on through to the other side of the break so we can hear the judge. Damn it. See, this is really dangerous. Court TV has this red bar that lines up perfectly with the tracking bar. And I'm trying not to completely destroy it. Okay, there it is. Let's see how long she takes to type this up. From 37, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 25 minutes. She was gone. All right, we'll backtrack a little bit. Oh, she's got that. Mr. Hilliard, I'm looking at you. I'm looking directly at you, sir. Look in her eyes. All right, before we hit that button to give it the go, Irish, I was drunk. We already read this, but we'll read it again. No, wait, we didn't read this one yet, did we? More for the dog cam. Eventually get there, lol. Thank you very much, Irish. I was drunk. Unicorn 11 dropping the 20 pounds just because I want to see the teeths. Well, we all just want to see the teeths. Don't we? We want to see the teeths. And Unicorn 11 member for 4 months as well. Obviously love seeing you too, Jeff. Too late. Thank you very much, Unicorn. I appreciate that. Thank you for the love for me and the doggo teeths. And Sonny A. Chris, all the way from wherever he hails from, gifted 5 Legal Vices memberships. That gets the bell ring if you got one of those 5 Legal Vices gifted memberships, which appears to be Smirky, Precious Pat, Heather Mosher, Supernova, and Crazy Leg Hag. That's a great nickname. You got one of the gifted memberships from Sonny A. Chris. Make sure you give him a super special thanks. And, that puts us doing lawyer math, 25, 40, it puts us $35 away from unleashing the emotional support potato pig dog cam. We are more than halfway there. We are approaching, I guess we're just that far away from the 2/3 of the way there, Mark. Let's see what the judge had to say, shall we? Let's get right back at it. Smile.
Mr. Hilliard, it's funny how the smallest hand signal, you start seeing out of the corner of your eye, and it helps.
Uh-oh, she just chastised him for something. Uh-oh, she's breathing deep. She's like...
We are now back on the record in SPCR 22-0336.
This is going to hurt.
The state of Georgia versus Leilani Marie Simon. Ms. Simon is present in court with her counsel. The state is present as well. So the issue came up on the text messages presented in State's Exhibit 83. The court had review the issue on admissibility back pre-trial. However, I've had an opportunity to consider the positions of both parties, as well as I've reviewed the case presented by the defense. In light of the evidence that's been testified and admitted at trial at this point, and after applying the Rule 403 balancing test, the court finds that the text messages are admissible, since the probative value outweighs any prejudicial effect to the defendant. So I'm handing states.
Suck it, defense lawyer. Suck it like LEILANI did the drug dealer. Yeah. Now, what's she saying? She said that it had the probative value outweighs the prejudicial value. For those of you who don't know what that means, is the evidentiary value that those text messages have in probing the truth, in getting to the core of the truth, outweighs any prejudice that the salacious nature could have. Sure, she's acknowledging that they're salacious and that could have an impact on the trial. It could have a negative impact on the trial because you're just sort of painting her in a really bad light. But she's saying that the value of probing for the truth far outweighs that. So they get to bring it on in. Exactly, Doc. Exactly, Strawberry.
Exhibit 83 back down to Madam Clerk. All right. Is there anything further to take up before we bring in the jury?
Just so I don't have to keep popping up, Judge, just note for the record my objection, and I won't keep popping up whenever we get to that point, if that's okay.
Thank you. All right. Mr. Dean?
We're ready.
Okay. Please bring in the jury.
Hello, Elmo.
All rise, jury center.
Jury's not entered.
All rise, like LEILANI Simon's drug dealer in the 10-minute window. Oh, 4 days in and we can start to laugh at this trial.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, please have a seat. And welcome back. Thank you. I hope you had a good lunch break. We planned to start back a little bit earlier. We had to take up some issues out of your presence. We are going to resume now. Were you able to comply with the court's instructions not to discuss the case?
Yes, Your Honor.
Has anyone done any research?
No, Your Honor.
All right. So let's get ready to begin. The state may call its next witness.
Dr. Amanda Fuentes.
Right this way.
The evidence you shall give the court and the hearing of the trial. This issue should be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes.
All right, good afternoon.
Weird. How weird is it that, ooh, that's spooky. Liz Bird says mint chocolate chip at exactly the same time a witness who is actually dressed like mint chocolate chip hits the stand. Ooh, Liz is psychic.
All right, Mr. Dean.
Good afternoon. Could you please introduce yourself to the jury?
Yes, my name is Dr. Amanda Fuentes.
And what is your city and state of residence?
I live in Dade City, Florida.
And what kind of doctor are you?
I'm a pediatrician.
Where is Dade City?
It is about 26 miles northeast of Tampa, Florida.
And where do you work?
Currently, I work at Premier Community Healthcare Center in Dade City, Florida.
Is that do you work in like an outpatient pediatrics clinic?
Yes, it's an outpatient pediatric clinic.
Okay. Are you, what type of pediatrician are you?
I'm a general pediatrician.
Okay. And how long have you been doing that?
I graduated or finished residency in 2006.
And you are here today, just to kind of put it out up front, because you were Quentin Simon's last pediatrician.
Yes.
Okay. Before moving to Florida, did you work in the Savannah area?
Yes, I worked in Savannah, Georgia from 2017 to 2023.
And where did you work in Savannah during that time period?
I worked at J.C. Lewis Primary Healthcare Center, and we have our own We have our own building that's dedicated to pediatrics.
Okay. And that's an outpatient pediatrics clinic?
Yes, it's an outpatient.
And is that where you saw Quentin?
Yes.
Okay. Let me go back now to education, training, and experience. Can you tell us about your undergraduate education?
Yes, I completed a Bachelor of Science honors degree through the University of South Florida in Tampa, Florida.
And did you go immediately to medical school, or did you work after undergrad, or what?
I was able to start medical school right after I graduated with my undergrad in 1999.
I'm sorry. Where did you go to medical school?
At the University of South Florida Medical School as well in Tampa.
All right, we have a meme copium raid, bringing all the copium to the channel. Thank you so very much for joining us, meme raiders. And meme, if you happen to be here in chat, just accept my deep and humble thanks. We had a great time hanging out this past weekend. Meme popped over here to Busan to see me, and we hung out with Legal Mindset Andrew. We had some great drinks, some great food, and some great times. And I'll be hitting him up in Japan here in a few months down the road. So thank you very much for rating us meme copium. Hit the like and subscribe.
And when did you finish up medical school?
In the year 2003.
Now, after graduating from medical school in 2003, did you do a residency?
Yes, I did a pediatric residency program in the University of Nebraska, Omaha, and Creighton University. Dual program in Omaha, Nebraska.
What is a residency?
Yes, we had great
A
eel. We had
residency
some great
allows a
charcoal
doctor
eel.
to kind of more specialize, or the first step to specialize in a certain area. So you have pediatrics, you have internal medicine, which is primarily adult medicine. You have surgery, for example.
And dermatology, emergency medicine, all the different specialties?
Yes.
So you did your residency in pediatrics?
Yes.
And is that essentially the first step to becoming a pediatrician?
Yes, it's, well, the first and only step to becoming a pediatrician.
And how long was your residency program at, you said, a
3
dual
years.
program at Creighton and University of
Yeah, just both of those school funded and provided the education.
Okay. 3 years of that pediatrics residency. What did the residency involve?
It involved different areas of pediatrics, so not only outpatient, but inpatient intensive care unit experience with the real small babies that are premature, as well as children, say that are very sick in the hospital.
Well, that's right. They
emergency
said
medicine
that
for
Quentin
pediatrics.
had a heart defect of some sort.
Psychiatric experience just under pediatric age group.
So during residency, you do a little bit of everything peds related.
Yes,
Okay. When did you finish residency?
I finished in 2006.
And at that point, did you get any kind of board certification or anything along those lines to be a pediatrician?
I was taking the board exam.
And do you hold any certifications or memberships?
I'm a board certified pediatrician
And how long have you been?
since 2022.
All right. Since finishing residency, have you worked as a pediatrician uninterrupted through the
Yes.
day? Okay. And so how many years would that be total?
So that would be 18 years,
I'm sorry to ask you to do that.
going on 18 years.
Okay. Your Honor, at this time, I would offer Dr. Puentes as an expert in pediatrics.
Yeah, she's next.
No objection, Your Honor.
All right.
Okay. I'd like to turn now to your involvement with Quentin. Okay. Can you tell us where, when, and under what circumstances you saw him?
So I saw him as a new patient in February of 2022. He came in for a 12-month well visit, although technically he was 13 months.
And what is a well visit?
So a well visit is a physical exam type visit that we go over safety in the household, developmental questioning to see where a child and make sure a child is developing normally, as well as administering vaccines if the parent would like their child to get the shots.
Is it fair to refer to a well child visit as essentially like a normal checkup?
Yes.
In other words, was he brought in because there was any specific health complaint, or was it just a routine visit?
It was a routine visit.
Okay. And tell us about your examination of Quentin that day.
That day, he was healthy, happy. I saw him with his grandmother, who he was in care of at the time. And developmentally, he was appropriate for his age, talking, walking, everything
Doing
on time.
algebra.
And then on physical exam, I did detect a heart murmur.
Okay. And can you tell us what you did in response to that?
So because of the heart murmur and at his age, and oftentimes my patients through this clinic, I may never see again, I referred him to a cardiologist.
And what cardiologist was that?
It was through the Savannah Children's Heart Center here in Savannah.
Do you remember the specific doctor?
It's, according to his records, is Dr. Burge.
Was that heart murmur something that caused you any serious concern?
No.
Can you tell us why not?
So a heart murmur doesn't automatically mean there's something structurally wrong with the heart. It can just tend to be, at the time when you hear it, a difference in pressure through the heart, so a difference in blood flow. Oftentimes, sometimes the next person, even within minutes, another doctor could have listened and not heard a heart murmur.
Did Dr. Birch did Quentin then have a visit with Dr. Birch?
Yes, he then, within a couple weeks, had a visit with Dr. Birch.
And did Dr. Birch get back to you about his assessment of Quentin's heart murmur?
Yes, he sent me the office visit notes.
And was there anything about what Dr. Birch told you that altered your initial impression that this wasn't anything to be especially concerned about?
No, there wasn't. No concern.
Overall, would you describe Quentin as having been in good health, happy, normal child when you saw him?
Yes.
And did you ever see anything that changed that opinion one way or the other?
No.
Prior to your testimony in this case, did I ask you to review essentially all of his medical records for his entire life?
Yes, you did.
Did you review his birth and neonatal records from Flowers Hospital in Atlanta?
Yes, I did.
Did you review some prior pediatrics records from a clinic in Waynesboro, Georgia?
Yes, I did.
Did you review some records for an emergency room visit at either St. Joseph's Hospital or Candler Hospital?
Yes, I did.
And what were those for? What was that visit about?
The visit at St. Joseph's Candler was an acute visit where he had had cough and runny nose.
Pretty normal for
and fever. Very normal for emergency room visit.
And did you also review the complete records from the Savannah Children's Heart Center?
Yes, I have.
But after that review, did you identify any documented condition that might have been life-threatening or anywhere close to life-threatening?
No.
Any reasonable medical possibility that Quentin just died in his sleep on the night of October 4th?
Objection, Your Honor, calls for speculation.
She's been tendered and admitted as an expert, Your Honor. She can testify in form of it.
Zing.
Issue in the case, Judge.
That's not the ultimate issue.
I'm going to allow the question.
Zing, got you,
Any
bitch.
reasonable medical possibility that Quentin would have just died in his sleep
Gotcha,
for no
bitch.
reason on October 4th, 2022?
No.
Thank you.
Yep. Shut that door real quick.
Quentin, let's pick up where Mr. Dean just left off.
Okay.
So that the whole purpose of her getting on the stand was to testify to that one thing, that there was no possibility he just died in the middle of the night because of a heart murmur. And she decided, oh my gosh, I'm panicking. I'm going to chuck him in a dumpster so he can be ground up into little bits by an earth mover. Yep. Close that door really damn quick.
Does anyone just die for no reason?
No. Yes.
Okay. what would be the no reason that could occur where someone would die for no reason?
There's reports of adults, elderly, that will get a sudden arrhythmia and lead to sudden death.
But wouldn't the arrhythmia then be the reason for the death?
Yes.
Okay. So it's a nonsensical question, isn't it? There's always some reason for a death, correct?
If it can be proven.
Correct. What if it can't be proven? What if you don't know the manner, method, time? Does it mean someone's less dead?
No,
it doesn't.
No, they're still dead.
Okay. So,
Wait,
but since you're a pediatrician, you're board certified.
this doesn't help him. This hurts him. This hurts him. This hurts his case. He's just said, even though we can't prove how, where, or why someone died, doesn't make them less dead. Her child is not less dead. She is dead. And it wasn't due to this heart murmur. So, yeah. This doesn't help.
Correct?
Yes.
And since Mr. Dean asked the question, I'll ask the question and take it a little bit further. Do you ever do postmortems on children?
No.
Okay. Have you ever done postmortems on children?
No.
It's not something you're trained in?
No.
Okay. The manner that you treat children, is it usually the health and wellness checks? Or have you ever done like emergency room visits or treatments?
A little bit of both, because some of the acute care can be involved enough to even call the ambulance to come to the office.
Audrey, no.
So, and whenever those children are
Audrey.
in your treatment, okay, have any of those children died?
Penalty box for you, 5 minutes for instigating.
When you did treat them, it was usually something that required some sort of immediate intervention, correct?
Yes.
And you got it for them, correct?
Yes.
and then they recovered, correct?
Yes.
So let's talk about Quentin Simon in particular. You said you reviewed all of his wellness records and all of his medical records, correct?
Yes.
So the heart murmur was of concern and note, but you referred him to the heart center and treatment was followed up on, correct?
Yes.
And Dr. Birch, I believe it was, didn't seem to be concerned and neither did you, right?
Exactly.
Okay. So with regards to the Wayne County records, anything of note there?
No.
Okay. And I think you said you also reviewed the birth and neonatal records from Atlanta, correct?
Yes.
Anything of note there?
No.
Okay. Did you see anything in the birth or neonatal records that would raise your hackles or be of any concern to you with this child's health or well-being?
No.
Okay. Now, who was it that brought the child in to see you, I guess, in February of 2022, or do you not know?
No, his grandmother did, along with what grandma referred to as a nanny.
And that was in February, correct?
Yes, 2022.
And you also had a June 6th visit as well, or was that a different doctor?
That was the emergency room visit.
Okay, but that wasn't you.
No, that wasn't me.
But again, you
I
reviewed
caught
those
that
records,
too,
and
Bridget.
again,
Hackles is a
nothing
weird
of any
word to
note or
use.
concern beyond, I guess it was a cough and runny nose you said?
Yes, no concern.
And you're a mandated reporter, aren't you?
Yes.
Okay. Can you explain to the jury what that means?
So I'm obligated to report a suspicion of child abuse or neglect. Any concerns, I'm supposed to report it to law enforcement.
And is there any special training you go through to do this job, to be a mandated reporter, or is it just part of your normal medical training?
It is, I guess, tutorials, a few hours of explaining mandated reporter, cases that it would come up or that might lead you to be suspicious in order to report, and then also how to report.
At any point in time, did you report any suspected abuse or neglect on Quentin Simon?
No.
That's all the questions I got.
All right. Well, this is a good time to take our midstream grift. We're an hour into this. We'll probably go a little bit long today. I'm going to try to finish up day 4 if possible. I doubt we'll have that much time, but we'll get through as much as we can today. But a couple of important items to get through here. Namely, Adair has just gifted 5 Legal Vices memberships. And if you happen to be one of those lucky 5, which is Doctor of Dragon Studies, Lindsay Cornegay, Jane Stoddard, Tracy A, and MM, you got one of the 5 gifted memberships from Adair K. Thank you so much, Adair, for the support. You, of course, get the bell sound for that. Thank you very much. And that puts us about $10 away from the emotional support potato pig dog cam for day 59. That's those are the 2 important things I wanted to get out of the way for the midstream grift. We've currently got 500 viewers here, 500 viewers and 198 likes. 300 of you, just get down there and hit that like button right now. Right now, we're going to be doing this for 30 more seconds. In the next 30 seconds, get down there and smash that like button. Smash the subscribe button if you haven't. And also, please, just if you have subscribed, make sure you're still subscribed. Been there, done that, says dogs. We are there. We shall take care of that momentarily. I would just want to continue the grift here for just a little bit. We've got the like and subscribe poll set up there to remind you to do all those YouTube things, which is namely to hit the like and subscribe button. And what are your feelings about this trial? We're halfway through. We're roughly halfway through. A little bit more to go get halfway through. But so far, we've heard a lot of evidence. We've heard a lot of cross-examination from the defense lawyer. What is your opinion so far? What are your feelings about the trial? 5% of you say not guilty, and I saw a bunch of you say you clicked the wrong button on that. 14% of you say 38% of you say guilty, and 43% of you say, dude, really? Yeah, this is pretty much an open and shut case. So yeah, that was a little bit of a sarcasm there. Brummy Nan of 2 with a 10-pound super sticker of something putting on the Thug Life glasses. I'm not sure what that is. And there you have Strawberry. Strawberry is telling us in no uncertain terms to get to the important part of the show, which is that because of all of your just instant generosity there, we have achieved day 59. We're keeping the streak alive for 59 days, unleashing the emotional support potato pig dog cam, which I need to do before the neighbors call the cops. Uh-oh. 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 Oh, no. Hello. Are we still here? Are we still here? Wow, that was scary. Not sure what happened, but hey, we got that. All right. That was spooky. Anyway, as I was saying, Straubs, please come on, stop it. I have to do this and I have to pet her really quick. All right. Damn it. 58 days. We are now 59 days into the emotional support potato big dog cam, and we have reached that point in the show, which for the 69th day in a straight row, keeping the streak alive, we get to issue the command to release the hose, which brings our co-host for the day, Strawberry. Here's Strawberry. Yoda is over there looking out the window. Strawberry is being obstreperous. Straubs, come here. Come on. Hurry up. Stop it. You're gonna get us in trouble, so please stop that. Please stop it. I will go get some snacks. Let's get this thing started. Right back in this. I'm confused. Straubs is being overly strawberry-ish. She's being a needy little bitch right now. Literally, because like she's a female dog. Get it. Anyway. All right. Enough of me. Enough of this. Let's get back into the trial. And I'm going to go fetch some more snacks for this little noisemaker over here so I don't get... Dude. It's 11 o'clock. Stop. All right. Hang tight. I'll be back. Shit.
You mentioned that it was his grandmother who brought him in when you saw him.
Yes.
You didn't report any abuse or neglect, right?
Yes.
But at the time you saw him, it seems that he wasn't even in his mother's custody. Is that right?
Correct. He was.
The objection.
The objection is a cause for speculation of a legal matter, not a medical matter, which is qualified.
Mr. Dean, do you want to respond to that?
I'll withdraw the question.
Thank you.
All right.
Anything further, Mr. Hilliard?
All right. Whew, we're back.
Thank you. Your excuse.
Hey, Yoda, over here. Yoda. Jeez, dogs. Like anyone believes that these fat lumps
May call its next witness.
of pig dog are hungry.
Dr. Kenneth Birch.
Sorry about all that noise, people. Sorry about all the noise, neighbors. I have no more. I have no more snacks. And if you continue to bark, I will have to put you outside.
Dr. Burke, if you would just come forward.
You come right this way, sir.
Hello, Dr. Birch.
Where's your right hand? Swear you in.
The evidence you shall give the court and jury in the trial of this issue shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes. You come right this way. Why don't you sit still? You can adjust this microphone and speak on the
All right, good afternoon.
Oh. Hello, Dr. Birch.
Could you please introduce yourself to the jury?
Yes, Kenneth Birch, pediatric cardiologist.
And where do you work, sir?
At Savannah Children's Heart Center in Savannah.
Are you a medical doctor, sir?
Yes,
You said you're a pediatric cardiologist.
that's correct.
And are you here today because you briefly treated Quentin Simon, the victim in this case?
Yes.
Now, let me ask you a little bit about your education, training, and experience.
Mhm.
Can you tell us about your undergraduate education?
Undergraduate, I went to Augusta College in Augusta, Georgia.
Did
For 4
you go,
years.
I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Mhm.
Did you
Just
go,
went 4 years, yeah.
4 years, okay. Did you go immediately to medical school?
No, didn't.
All English
a
bulldogs
year
have
before I
corkscrew tails.
Was accepted, and then I went to 4 years of medical school. Then I did 3 years of pediatric residency, and then 3 years of pediatric cardiology fellowship.
Where did you go to medical school?
Medical College of Georgia,
And when did you graduate?
1982.
You mentioned that you did was it a pediatric residency or a cardiology residency?
Well, a residency was general pediatrics.
Okay.
So I did 3 years of that at the medical college there. And then I was fortunate that they thought enough of me to go ahead and offer me a fellowship in pediatric cardiology there before I was halfway through my second year of residency. So I stayed and I did 3 years there.
Our last
in
witness,
fellowship.
I'm sorry, our last witness, Dr. Quentin, has explained to us what a medical residency is, but I don't think we've heard what a fellowship is after residency. Can you tell us what a fellowship is?
Well, a residency, you sort of do a lot of different things, but when you do a fellowship, you're specifically focused on one particular subspecialty. In my case, it was pediatric cardiology.
Is it fair to say that in your residency, you gain your specialty, but in your fellowship, you get a subspecialty?
That's correct.
Okay. When did you finish your pediatric cardiology fellowship?
1988.
And have you been working as a pediatric cardiologist uninterrupted since then?
Yes, sir.
Tell us where you worked as a pediatric cardiologist.
Well, initially was employed, if you will, by Memorial Medical Center, starting July 1988, and worked in the pediatric department there doing pediatric cardiology until 1995, and I went out in private practice April 1st, 1995, and formed Savannah Children's Heart Center. Been there.
Did he say 1895?
Now, as a pediatric cardiologist,
I think he said
how do you get
1895.
patients? Where are these patients coming
They're
from?
referred.
Referred by whom?
Typically, other general pediatricians.
And what causes a general pediatrician to refer a child to a pediatric cardiologist? What kind of things?
Well, they're very different, various different reasons. One of the most common, particularly in a young child, is because they hear a noise or a murmur when they listen. We also see kids for passing out, chest pain, and all kind of other complaints. But
Now, can you tell us about Quentin Simon's being referred to you?
I believe that Dr. Wentz heard a murmur, and I think it was a new finding, from what I gathered. And so he was referred for us to evaluate.
And tell us about that evaluation.
Okay. Well, how much? What do you want to know? Everything, or just? I'm not. I mean, well, I mean.
Can you do like a 1 minute?
Yeah. So basically, when he came into the office, he had a EKG performed, which was normal. Then I went into the room, and he was there with his grandmother, and he looked fine. Respiratory rate was normal, heart rate normal. His weight was above the 75th percentile for his age. He looked like he was thriving. And so I listened to him and examined him. He had a soft little murmur. So then we went and did the echocardiogram where we actually look at the heart. And that's where we, so two minor things. One was a patent foramen ovale, and the other was a very small, what appeared to be a coronary artery fistula into the PA.
The first thing you said was you said it really fast.
Patent foramen ovale.
PFO. What is that?
Well, patent foramen ovale is a normal structure actually that all babies have before they're born. Okay, it's open in such a manner.
So I saw some people saying in chat, how could she afford a cardiologist? Clearly, the child didn't have good health care. It looks to me like they had some pretty dang good health care with this guy. So yeah, good for the kid. I'm glad he was being looked after. And we had a very quick insert from Jill M to the Australian $5. Yoda is like, I'm the good one, Dad. You should give me all the snakes. We'll just assume you meant snacks. Thank you very much, Jill. And Adara the Holson with the 2. This is Abraham Lincoln's pediatrician right here. Thank you very much for those chats, peeps.
So that the blood that's coming up from the placenta, because mother's providing everything, is preferentially directed across that opening, if you will, to the left side of the heart. So most of it gets pumped out, to the body, as opposed to going back into the lungs, which are full of fluid and the vessels are constricted. And then after they're born and the pressures change in the heart, then it just sort of flaps shut, if you will. But very commonly, it doesn't necessarily meet like it's supposed to, and takes time to close up and go away. Typically, large patent foramen ovale is about 80% of them close, small ones 90-95%. But a small patent foramen ovale is restrictive, doesn't have a lot of shunting going from, because the shunt direction changes after they're born. Okay, the pressure in the lungs goes down, so now the left side of the heart has a higher pressure than the right side. Okay, it's got your blood pressure.
Oh, cool! I didn't know that.
And your pressure in your lungs is like a third of that. But anyway, so the direction of the shunt changes, and then what the criteria for intervening or closing it or whatever you want to say has to do with how big it is.
You mean surgically?
No, you can close it with devices.
Okay.
But sometimes it's surgically, just depends. But if it's small and restrictive, and the right side of the heart is normal, you leave them alone, because you're actually probably going to do more harm than good, closing it, if you will. And his was very tight. Okay.
And Mr. Before you go further, was that PFOFPO?
PF, Frank, FO, yeah.
Okay, and Madam Court,
I can help you.
yes, please.
Is that spelled P-A-T-E-N-T?
Peyton.
New word F-O-R-A-M-E-N.
Mhm.
New word O-V-A-L-E.
That's correct.
All right. We got it.
Thank you, Mr.
You're welcome.
I can say PFO if you want to.
So was any intervention indicated for?
Not for that, no.
Would you consider this a minor issue?
Mhm. I would consider, you're talking normal activities, no limitations on activities, typically shouldn't have any effect on life expectancy. And like I say, he was only 13 months old when I saw him, so there was still a good or a high probability that it was going to close up anyway.
By around what age?
Usually, most of them close around 12, 15 months of age, but I've had some that were a little older, 2, 3 years, that, some that you're looking at thinking, well, these may be large enough for us to do something about. And we typically, if we do need to do something, if they're large enough, we typically don't address that until they're 3, 4, 5 years of age. So he was
Is that because you're waiting for it to just resolve?
waiting for it to resolve, as well as getting the child older, so everything is easier to do, particularly if you're going to do it with a device.
Now, you mentioned, I think, also a coronary artery fistula that you observed. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, that's a very rare type of finding in the sense where I think it's
Hey,
about
Siobhan, how you
0.01,
doing?
maybe 0.02%. You see a congenital one. This is a congenital one. There are coronary fistulas that you may see in adults that are undergoing bypass surgery and other kind of things, but I'm talking about a congenital one. And basically when the heart forms, basically it's a single tube actually when you first start, and then involutes on itself and so forth. So a lot of the structures are very close to each other. And sometimes, most commonly, the left anterior descending coronary artery may not actually totally close up from the pulmonary artery. So you may have a connection there, and that's called a fistula. And the size of the fistula dictates what you do, meaning that if it's a small coronary fistula, less than like 1 centimeter or much less than the size of the coronary artery, I'll put it that way, then we just watch those. And most of those will even close up and go away on their own. Now, when you talk about larger ones, moderate to large, those are a little different. Those many times will need to be taken care of. But typically you'll see signs and symptoms with that. So it's not just looking and saying, oh, this is a small one. You're looking at other things as well. If it's a significant shunt, which means it's a big one, okay, into the point then the left heart's going to be dilated. There's going to be increased flow to the lungs. The child's going to be short of breath. He's not going to eat well. He's not going to gain weight. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so forth. And obviously, though, and of course, one of the risks with it, if it's a large one, is that once they get up and start playing sports and so forth, that they could have an issue with ischemia or lack of oxygen to the heart. So you will repair those. Small ones, you watch. Sometimes they don't go away. So typically when they're 10, 11, 12 years of age, when they reach that age where they're going to be affected by peer pressure or parental pressure to continue to compete. Whereas when they're little, they get tired, they stop. When they get a little older, they try to run that extra lap or whatever. That's when you can get in trouble if you have an issue. So we'll exercise them and make sure everything is okay, depending upon the size of it. But I've had kids with small coronary fistulas that play competitive athletics, high school, college, and so forth. Never have an issue.
What about
His was tiny.
Tiny?
Tiny.
Well, either now
You almost don't even want to mention it, but.
And hey, welcome Aussie Overlord Raiders. Glad to have you here. Thank you so much.
That's why.
Make sure you hit that like and
Were
subscribe button.
either of these findings that you've described of any serious concern to you? And you say this as a pediatric cardiologist with 30-some years experience?
That's correct. I've only had one coronary fistula that we've ever had to repair, and that was back in the 90s. The rest of
Strawberry, this is not only feet. Stop that. This is not only feet. Leave the feet alone. There we go. All right, back at it.
Only one that you've ever had to repair? Okay.
And the patient did well.
And how many kids have you seen with
It's not very common. I don't know, 20, maybe 15 over the years. I don't, keep that number because most of the time it's almost an incidental finding, if you will, because they're so small that you don't want to make a major issue out of it because then it may interfere with the child's normal activities and so forth because everybody's going to be worried that something may happen.
How many times did Quentin come to see you?
Just one time.
What was the plan going forward?
He was supposed to come back in 6 months. And so I saw him on February 28th, if I'm, 2022, if my memory is correct. And so he was supposed to come back in August, and he didn't show. And then, and I don't know the details of the dates right in there, but somehow we were trying to track him or get him. It came to light that he had died.
I don't know that I did this earlier, Your Honor, but I would offer Dr. Birch as an expert in pediatric cardiology. No objections.
Okay, thank you.
In your opinion, was there any reasonable medical possibility? Well, let me ask you this. Were either of these conditions life-threatening in your view?
No.
Even remotely so?
No, sir.
Is there any reasonable medical possibility that they just caused his sudden death one night?
I guess anything is possible in the world. However, I would say this: I've never seen an issue with these defects this small ever creating an issue. I mean, any symptoms or whatever, much less death. You know.
Thank you, sir. Mm-hmm. 1 moment, please. No further questions.
Dr. Birch, these are rare conditions, correct?
No, pain finger valley is very common. The coronary
And
is
no.
a rare condition.
It's not often I get to talk to a cardiologist, so I'm going to ask some questions. I know it's probably for you, stuff you're used to dealing with, but just out of curiosity, you said the PFO. How common is that in children?
Well, actually, it's a normal structure that all babies have.
Ha
It's
ha.
the ones that don't close after them, like
He's just got his ass handed to him with the first 2 questions he asked. It's not common, is it? Well, yeah, it actually is. Now, this PF thing, that's not common. No, every child has this, and then just finishes develop. He got burned with the first 2 questions. Counselor, don't do it. Don't do it. Shut it down.
if you were to go into the nursery,
Ouch, that was my foot.
and do an echocardiogram on every baby that was born in the first 24 hours, they probably 95 to 98% of them still have a patent foraminal valley.
Okay. And let's talk about the fistula. How common is that?
That's not common. It's like less than 1%.
Okay. And since one is fairly common and one is not very common, the combination of the two, how common is that?
I have no idea. I mean,
have you ever seen it before?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So and I assume what you were talking about, Mr. Dean, I'm not trying to put words in your mouth, about 15 or 20 times, I guess you would say. So it's one of the
Some of that effect. I mean, like I said, I could go back and probably look it all up for you, but
No.
it's not very common.
This was not a very common thing. Okay.
Although I will say this is becoming more common because our technology is a lot better. When we look with the echocardiograms and the color flow,
Dang.
and you're seeing more things now that you didn't see previously. Does that make sense? And so, so you're seeing them, but still,
It's like 0 for 4 here.
It's not necessarily, anything that you would certainly do anything about unless it's, moderate to large in size.
Well, and let's talk about that. So technologies, you've been a pediatrician now, I believe, since the 80s. So probably 40 years now, right?
82.
Okay. So, and I assume technology advancing does help in the diagnosis and treatment.
Yeah,
of
a
lot of
little
these
bit,
disorders,
dumbass.
correct?
Yes, sir.
So I guess, 40 years ago, these things wouldn't have been diagnosed or as common as they are now, correct?
In the moderate to large, you would probably hear them, okay, because it'd be more of a continuous murmur. And if you got one large enough, then you'll hear it. Now, I have a patient that has one that you can definitely hear, but hemodynamically, it's not significant enough that, I referred her to be considered for having it closed. And they did the catheterization, looked at it, came back and said that it wasn't large enough to warrant intervention at this time.
Okay.
So,
Well, and let's talk about, what was it, the fistula that you said that could become an issue later on if it didn't close or do what it's supposed to do?
no, I didn't.
Or was it PFO?
No, not PFO.
As you can tell, I don't know much about this.
No, it's okay. That's okay.
If you don't know
The-
much
the
about
PFO
this,
typically
don't
will
question
either
the
close
expert
them, go
about
away, or
it.
stay the same size. They don't typically get bigger. Okay. The coronary fistula, the real small ones, like Quentin had, typically close up and go away, or mainly stay the same size. Okay. The moderate to large ones, they can increase in size over time. So that's why you would address those sooner. Now, someone like Quentin with a very small one, you would watch him just to make sure that it doesn't progress, and look at the size of his coronary arteries and make sure there's no dilatation and so forth and so on, just to make sure that you're not going to have any, or try to prevent any issues. I'll put it that way. But unless you're seeing some significant shunning and so forth, these are typically patients are typically asymptomatic.
And let's talk about the opposite of that. I mean, most of them are asymptomatic, but if something was going wrong or there was shunning, and what would be the signs and symptoms? How would you know?
As I mentioned earlier, particularly in the small, like Quentin, he would actually be in what's called congestive heart failure. Okay, and that's a bit of a misnomer when you talk about congestive heart failure, like in someone like me, because the heart is still functioning fine. The problem with it is a lot of the blood is, when it goes in the coronary artery, it goes out the fistula to the artery to the lungs, and then it comes back to the left side of the heart. Does that make sense?
It does.
Okay, and so the left side of the heart will begin to dilate, and but also you have what's called pulmonary overcirculation, and that's where the symptoms come from. And you can get edema, so they're short of breath, they're easy fatigability. In youngsters that are nursing or bottle feeding or whatever, they're usually tachypnic or breathing fast, and so their major activity obviously is eating. They don't get them run around, so what happens to them is they can't coordinate sucking, swallowing, and breathing. Okay, so they tire, they don't finish the bottle or whatever, and they don't gain weight. So that's one of the parameters you always look at in a situation where if there's a question in your mind, is this child doing fine or not? Because I think the heart was a little big or whatever. You look at their weight and so forth, and if they're above 50th percentile or so, and like Quentin was above the 75th percentile, so he wasn't having any issues eating or any of those types of things. So.
Doctor, thank you so much. You've been very informative.
Well, thank you very much.
Just a moment, Mr. Dean.
No regret.
Thank you. Doctor, thank you. You're excused.
Doctor, can't you see I'm burning? Right, what's happening next? Connie B, new member. Thank you so much, Connie B, for joining the Clean and Sober crew.
Paul Simon.
Everybody, welcome Connie B to our newest membership. Thank you so much for the support, Connie. Appreciate that. All right, we can scooch on over here to the next. Oh.
Right hand, please.
All right.
The evidence you shall give the court and jury in the trial petition to the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So.
Napoleon Dynamite's brother has entered the courtroom.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How you doing today?
You're squeezing my neck meat.
Good afternoon. How are you?
Doing good. How about you?
Doing pretty well. Could you please introduce yourself to the jury?
I'm Paul Simon.
And,
Paul, this is Leilani's brother.
His brother.
Yes, sir.
All right. Do you mind if I call you Paul?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
If you prefer, Mr. Simon, let me know.
You can call Paul.
Okay. How old are you, Paul?
23.
And what is your city and state of residence? Where do you live now?
I live in Eden, Georgia.
Do you work?
Yes, sir.
What do you do?
I do construction, and I'm a manager at AutoZone.
Did you grow up in the area?
Yes, sir.
Where'd you go to high school?
New Hampstead.
I want to draw your attention to fall of 2022.
Mm.
Do you remember the general time period I'm talking about?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Where were you living in the fall of 2022?
535 Buckholder Road.
And whose house is that?
My mother's.
Okay. And where were you staying in that house during that time period?
Upstairs and towards the back side of the house.
When did you started living there?
3 to 4 months prior.
Prior to what?
Prior to the incident.
Okay. Now,
You mean
where
the
do you live?
murder?
With my aunt,
Okay. What's her name?
Jackie.
Okay. So you lived with your Aunt Jackie, then you moved back in with Mom at some point?
Yes, sir.
Were you working in that time period?
Yes, sir. I was working at a warehouse.
Insert Simon and Garfunkel jokes here, everybody.
I can't remember. It was Eclipse.
Graceland was a great album.
Was it the same place that your sister and Danny worked?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Tell me about a normal day there. What did you do?
We loaded packages up onto trailers and moved them around the warehouse into different trailers all day, just stacking them and wrapping them and sending them off.
Now, when you moved into your
For those of you like Marcia that want to know, I am smoking an Alec Bradley Black Market Esteli. I believe this was a Toro size. So that's what we're doing today. The Alec Bradley Black Market Esteli.
Your mom's house a couple months before what you described as the incident. Were your sister and Danny and the 3 kids already living there?
Yes, sir.
Had Sky already been born at that point?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Tell me what was it like living there with everybody in that house?
Well, pretty much every day, from what I heard and saw, it was just arguing every day. I mean, not between the kids or nothing like that, but it was between Leilani and Danny.
Okay. What about your mom?
Whenever my mom was there, they did argue quite a good bit.
And who's that?
Leilani and my mom.
Okay. Let's go.
And it's also interesting to note that her brother is a prosecution witness against her, not a defense witness in support of her.
Go to the morning of, well, let me ask you this. Tell me about the kids, the 3 kids, Zane, Quentin, and Scott.
Zane, hyper, want to be in everybody's business. Well, I mean, that's average for his age, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then Quentin, he was an angel. Like, you could change his diaper. He'd lift his butt right up for you. No problem at all with it. You put the diaper, you tell him to lower his butt. He'd lower it, let you clean them all up. No problem at all. Zane, that boy had crap all up his head one time. And man, that was a whole...
What? I love lay witnesses. I love I love people that are just common witnesses, just average, ordinary, everyday people that just give testimony. Just call it the way they see it. Ken and Angel lifts his butt right up, cleans right up. Zane, he had shit all up over his head and all over the place. Oh my God. Oh, all right, Paul. I automatically love you for that. I really don't care what else you say. I love you now just for that. And for some reason, this is where she gets emotional. Crap all up over his head. Oh no, that's great. All right.
At all, Zane. That boy had crap all up his head one time, and Melanie made me clean it in the back of the car. Man, that was a whole... I don't know how I managed that one.
He looks like Ricky Berwick.
Did you participate in the child care at all during your time living in the house?
Kinda. It was on and off. It was whenever they needed me.
Yeah. Tell us about your interactions with the kids.
So a few times I had to take them to doctor's appointments, which wasn't a problem because, people was at work, and I happened to have the day off or whatever,
Again? You guys want me to replay that again? All right, that was good enough. We'll play that again.
Quentin and Scott.
Zane, hyper, want to be in everybody's business.
All right, this is the last time.
Average for his age, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then Quentin, he was an angel. Like, you could change his diaper. He'd lift his butt right up for you. No problem at all with it. You put the diaper, you tell him to lower his butt. He'd lower it, let you clean them all up. No problem at all. Zane, that boy had crap all up his head one time, and Melanie made me clean it in the back of the car. Man, that was a whole... I don't know how I managed that one.
Can I ask you this? Did you participate in the child care at all during your time living in the house?
Kinda. It was on and off. It was whenever they needed me.
Yeah. Tell us about your interactions with kids.
So a few times I had to take them to doctor's appointments, which wasn't a problem because, people was at work, and I happened to have the day off or whatever.
He does look like Ricky
So I take them to the
Burkwell,
doctor's
though.
appointment because I didn't have to be at work till 2. And then I drop them off at the babysitter. And then whenever Leilani would need me to watch them, I'd watch them upstairs. I'd bring some toys upstairs in my room and let them play with it. Tell them, hey, that's your area. Don't mess with none of my stuff.
Tell me about watching them upstairs in your room.
They just sit there, play with the toys, want a whole lot of snacks. And of course, I wouldn't give them snacks right away. You ain't about to be all hyped up on me.
Does this include Sky, or are you talking mainly
I
about
love this
Zane?
guy.
Zane and Quentin, I didn't actually watch Sky. She was still.
Anyway, them kids all hyped
young.
up on me. No snacks
3-4
for
months
them.
old, somewhere around there. So I didn't actually watch Sky, but I watched Zane and Quentin quite a bit whenever they needed me to.
Did you ever help them, and maybe not because of the shift you work, did you ever help them getting them dressed in the morning, getting them fed, getting them bathed and put down at night or anything like that?
I bathed them once or twice. when I was there. And as far as feeding, I would help with that, but it was more so when I was there, because I was working from 2 to 10. So they usually eat between 6 and 9 at night, give or take those time periods.
And you started saying some nice things about Quentin earlier, and I did not follow up, and I guess I'll do that now. What was your relationship like with Quentin?
Well, he loved me. I mean, he'd come up to me, he'd put his arms over my knees, and I'd just sit there and bounce him for a good hour or two till my legs got tired. You know, he weighed a good 20, 30 pounds. But, I mean, I loved him. I mean, I tell him to shut up. But, I mean, that was about as mean as it got towards him with me, you know what I mean? Kids don't want to stop talking.
What did your, during the time period that you're working at Eclipse and working the 2 p.m. shift that you've mentioned, what did a normal day look like for you? Not talking about any particular day, but just kind of give us an example.
I'd get up in the morning between 9 and 10 o'clock.
No, I'm not this kind of uncle to my nieces and nephews because the youngest one is 23. So no, I don't bounce them on my knee anymore.
Hawkish, usually, and then watching TV, get up, take my dog out, let him use the bathroom, bring him back in the room, continue watching some TV, and then get ready and go to work. I mean, it was just, out of the TV, we're playing a video game.
What about after work?
After work, I'd get off, just like I said at the police station. I'd get off, roll me a blunt, and go on about my day.
Tell me about the blunt rolling and going on about your day.
I'd sit there in the parking lot because I wasn't going to try to drive and roll at the same time, you know what I mean? So I'd sit there in the parking lot, roll. Then as I was driving down the road, I would light it up and smoke.
Oh, no.
Because my mom had a strict rule of no smoking in the car. So you'd have to roll down the windows to be able to smoke in the car.
What car were you driving around the time?
Dude, don't smoke a blunt and drive.
What color is it?
White.
Okay. And is that the truck that was parked next to the Dodge Journey when the police arrived?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Tell me what you would do when you get home.
I'd get home, I'd go upstairs, let the dog out, then probably smoke again, and then go to bed. Watch a little bit of TV if I had enough time, and then go to bed.
Tell us about the dog. When did you get the dog?
I got the dog when I was still working at FedEx in 2019. He passed away January 1st this year from a bandit's heartworm disease.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yep. And but he was my pride and joy. Love that little fool.
What? You said what now?
He was a little fool. He was a little retard. That's what he was.
Pardon me. What was the dog's name?
Rimshot.
Rimshot?
Mm.
Are you a drummer?
I'm not, but that's a name from Ernest. Have you ever seen any of the Ernest movies?
Like Ernest Saves Christmas?
Ernest Saves Christmas. Ernest Goes to Jail. Ernest Saves.
I can't with this guy. This guy is my favorite witness ever. Honest to God, in the 2.5 years I've been doing this YouTube thing, this guy is hands down my favorite witness ever. Previously, it was the trailer park guy from the Johnny Depp trial. This guy has surpassed him by a light year. Oh God, my face hurts from this guy. This is epic. His dog is a hard R, and he named him because he's like a huge fan of the Ernest movies. Oh, I'm going to have heart murmur here in just a minute. Oh my God. I love this witness. Holy shit. Oh. I can't. I want to push play to hear more of it, but I can't. Oh, I can't because I can't bear more of this. This is awesome. Oh my God, this is exactly what this trial needed. Oh crap. Let's go.
Halloween.
And there's a character named Rimshot in this movie?
It's his dog.
And that's okay, so that's your dog.
Named his dog after Ernest.
You told me before the dog was named Rimshot, but I don't know why. Okay. Where did the dog stay when you were at work?
He would stay, Lonnie would watch him whenever she was home, or he would go outside and stay on lead.
Okay. On the lead, can you tell me what you're talking about?
Long 25, 30 foot.
No, he's not mentally impaired. He's just a normal
Oh,
guy giving
ground.
awesome
And where would
testimony.
he stay when you were home?
He would stay upstairs with me.
Is that where he slept?
Mhm.
Okay. Let's talk about so we've talked about
Oh my
kind of your
God.
general typical day, right?
Mhm.
Let's talk about the day before the police came to your house, okay? We'll talk about that day, October 4th, 20.
Did you sign it else for mine? You respond with yes or no?
Yes, sir.
The court reporter is trying to take it all down.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's all right.
All right.
Give the court
The day
reporter
before
time to
the police
stop
came to your house, did
laughing.
you work that day?
I did.
As far as you remember it, was it pretty much a normal day for you?
Yes, sir.
And is it not until the next morning that it became abnormal?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let's talk about
Somebody named
going
Abby.
to work. What time were
Abby
you scheduled
Normal.
to work that day?
I was scheduled to go in at 2 p.m. I had went in early that day. I don't remember exactly what time I went in.
And do you remember why it was that you went in early?
Because Lonnie wasn't able to go in that day. And so Danny had texted her and asked if I could come in early, is what I believe was what happened.
Okay. John, I'd like to approach with what I've marked as State's Exhibit 88.
Hey, Vern. Know what I'm talking about, Vern?
Can you take a look at this? Just read it carefully, take a look at the phone numbers, and I'll ask you.
Oh, shit.
That's my old number. And that was Danny's number.
Abby.
The document
Abby
that I
Normal.
is that the text message exchange between Danny Young and you
Yes, sir.
from October 4th of 2022?
Yes, sir.
Does it fairly and accurately depict the text messages that you exchanged?
Mhm.
Your Honor, I would offer this as State's Exhibit 88.
No objection, Judge.
What are we going to look at here?
Now, the first message on there is from who to whom?
The first message is from Danny to me.
And what was the time of that message?
10 in the morning. 10:15.
And what did Danny say to you?
He said, yo, Dave wanted to know if you'd go in at 12. I'm at the dentist with Lonnie. She just got her tooth pulled.
Yo, Dave wanted to know if you would go in at 12.
Mhm.
Is that Dave Mullins? Or
Yes, sir.
Mullen?
It was the GM that was running Eclipse.
Okay. Was he your boss or at least one of your bosses?
He was one of them. He was the morning shift boss.
Yeah, we
And did
lost
you
Terry
respond to
Gar
that
last
message from
week.
Danny?
Yes, sir. I said I'd be in.
And what time did you send that message?
20 minutes after I received it.
So from there, did you go into work?
Yes, sir. I got there probably about 11:30.
And was it a normal day at work?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, tell us about finishing up work and getting ready to come
Funny.
So I got out of work. I went and sat in the car, and that night I got stopped by a train. So I ended up getting home at 10:50 instead of my normal time, which was 10:30.
Okay. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
And that night before I had left work, Melanie had texted me and asked me if I had any relatives, which was blunt wraps, and I had responded to her and said yes, I'd be home in about an hour. And when I had got home at 10:50, I went in there to give her the pack of Rellos, and she wasn't there.
Okay. So you said that she texted you before you.
It was either a text or a phone call.
Okay. And asked you if you.
Would bring her a pack of Rellos, which was blunt wraps.
What is that word you're saying? I'm sorry.
Rellos.
Rellos?
Cigarillos.
Oh, okay. Cigarillos.
Yeah.
Slinging the lingo, the Rillos.
Cigar. Rellos?
Yeah, cigar. Yeah.
All right. Thanks.
That makes me want to go get one of my cigarillos. My Rillos. I'm going to have to start calling them Rillos now, just in honor of this guy. Oh.
Your Honor, I'd like to approach with what I've marked as State's Exhibit 89.
Oh, God. This was not on my personal bingo card for today, chat. Oh,
Can you take a look
God.
at
I'm so glad you're
this
here.
document and let me know when you're ready to talk about it. Take a careful look at the numbers and the messages and so forth.
We currently got 469 people here and 270 likes. Do me a favor, 200
Yes,
of you
sir.
that haven't done it. Just get on here and hit that like
Flip to
button.
the second
Thanks.
page here, if you would.
Oh, shit. Jill M's dropping the
Do you
5
recognize
Aussie
those
bucks.
messages?
Yes, sir.
Are those messages between you
Many
and your
shorts
sister
with this
on the night of
witness.
October 4th?
Yes, sir.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna have fun clipping this one. This guy is brilliant.
They fairly and accurately depict the messages that you exchange with each other.
Yes, sir. And around the same time, because at that time it took me about 30 minutes to roll. So I was sitting there in the parking lot for 30 minutes.
Your Honor, I would introduce this as Stacey Exhibit 89. I don't know. I know you talked about your general practice of rolling a blunt.
I can't with this guy. Irregular practice of rolling a blunt. Oh, wow. This is brilliant. Now, I'm going to have to put you outside, Straubs, really. I don't want to do that. So come on, be good. All right, let's go back.
At that time, it took me about 30 minutes to roll. So I was sitting there in the parking lot for 30 minutes.
30 minutes to roll a blunt. I'm sorry, we haven't paid attention to anything this guy's said.
I know you talked about your general practice of rolling a blunt in the parking lot.
I'm sorry, that's brilliant.
I don't know. I know you talked about your general practice of rolling a blunt in the parking lot after work. Would you smoke it there as well?
I would be driving on my way home smoking. Like I
Okay.
said, that night I got stopped by the train, so it took me an extra 20 minutes to get home.
Okay.
So don't confess to that.
Let me ask you, do you see this message here, this 9:46 p.m. message? All right. And is that one from your sister?
Yes, sir.
And what did she say to you?
Can you grab me a car on the way home, please?
All right. So are you still at work at that point?
I was.
Okay. Had you clocked out yet?
No. I had my phone on me, but I wasn't supposed to, so.
Oh, okay. I see. The next message is from who to whom?
From Leilani to me. She was sending a question mark afterwards because she always forgets to send her question marks.
Okay, so we got, can you grab me a gar on your way home, please, at 9:46 with no question mark, and then she adds the question mark a few minutes later?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And then I saw it right as I was clocking out.
All right, and you responded to that at what time?
Right before 10 o'clock.
Okay, and what did you say?
I got some minis in the car. I got minis, but.
All right, so we'll read the message just as it appears on the page, and then I'm going to ask you what you mean.
I got minis. I got some minis.
I got some minis. And what does that refer to?
Mini cigarillos.
Okay.
Well, cigarillos are minis.
And where
to
were you at
begin
the time
with.
you sent that message? You said you just clocked out?
I'm just walking out the building.
Okay. And what's
that, a cigarillo Lilo?
What's the next message?
She said, okay, you on the way? And I said, in a minute.
And what time did you say in a minute?
At 10:03.
All right. And would you have been in the parking lot at that point, I guess?
Getting in the car.
Okay. And then what was the last message?
Okay.
And that was from her to you?
Yes, sir.
At 10:03 p.m. All right. So no more text messages between the two of you that night?
No, sir. My bad.
My God.
So that brings us to your getting home and her not being there, you said, right? Tell us about your arrival at the house.
So I got home and I noticed that the Dolly Journey wasn't there.
Okay.
And so I went inside, I had the minis in my hand, and I had asked Danny, I said, where's Leilani at?
Where was it that you encountered Danny?
He was sitting on the bed right in front of the door going into the bedroom.
Okay. He sit on the bed in his bedroom, his and your sister's bedroom?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
And you've got the minis in your hand?
Yes, sir.
And because you were coming to bring them to your sister? And she is not there?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, did you see the children at this point?
I did.
My dog.
I don't remember exactly what they were doing, but I know that Quentin was awake. He was in his playpen, and Zane was laid down on his race car bed.
Did you have any air? How do you know Quentin was awake? Tell me what you saw.
He was saying Danny. He was laying there, but he was saying Danny, just like that.
Is that something that he would do?
Yes.
Oh,
Can you
crap.
describe?
Now we're going to get to the
this is
sad
like normal
part.
kind of babbling from a child, or
He would say Danny's name repeatedly. I don't know if it was because it was easy for him to say, because it's only 2 syllables. Danny. You know what I mean? But that was one of the key words he said 95% of the time.
from your perspective, did Quentin seem to like Danny? Did they have a good relationship?
They had a decent one. I mean, Danny would get fed up with taking care of the kids all the time, but you signed up for it, brother. I mean, there's nothing else I can say to you. I can't sit here and say, don't be upset. You signed up for it.
So anyway, Quentin's you said he was laying down in his packing play?
He was laying down, more or less. He was still getting so he does a lot of talking before he would go to sleep. So he'd just sit there and say Danny or throw a little tantrum and then pass out, or it was one of the two. He didn't like being in a dark room.
Did anything seem to be out of the ordinary in that room at that time?
Not that I saw. I walked in there told Quentin to shut up and go to bed, and went upstairs.
And did Danny seem to be acting abnormally?
He seemed a little agitated that he was having to watch the kids again.
Okay. Yeah, anything beyond that?
I mean, no more than his normal whining about having to do something he didn't want to do.
Now, how long did y'all interact with each other?
About 10 minutes in the bedroom before Leilani got home.
What was the nature of that?
Just talking. He was complaining about Leilani, which I was already used to and kind of getting a little bit annoyed of him whining. You don't like it, leave. I mean, it's not that hard.
Now, did you have anything to eat when you got home that night?
No, I didn't.
Don't remember getting anything to eat?
I don't remember it.
Okay. Would it refresh your memory to look at some text messages between Danny and Leilani about that, perhaps?
Yes, sir.
Madam Clerk, do you have State's Exhibit 86 somewhere I can see it here? Can you take a look at that second message from the top? You good?
Yeah.
Okay. And if it doesn't, it doesn't. But does that refresh your memory as to whether you had anything to eat or drink that night?
I probably grabbed some Hawaiian punch.
Okay.
Leilani was a little stingy about the kids' drinks and food now.
Now, after you probably or possibly had some Hawaiian punch, what did you do?
Went upstairs. I watched that episode of One Piece.
What is that?
One Piece is an anime.
Okay, it's an animation.
Mm-hmm. It was 23 minutes and 40.
Dude even has good taste in anime. Come on. This guy is not real. That motherfucker right there, he ain't real. This guy is not real. He's the coolest witness ever. Oh.
2 seconds exactly.
And what did you do after that?
Went to bed.
Did you come downstairs anymore that night?
No, sir.
Did you have to let the dog out or anything at any point?
No, sir. Not till he woke me up in the morning. Needed to use the bathroom, which was about 8:30ish. I got up at 9 and took him out.
Okay. What do you remember about that morning?
Just hearing yelling, and I thought it was the normal yelling. Then I come downstairs, and next thing I know, the house is surrounded by police.
Was that before or after you took the dog out?
After.
Okay.
But it was kind of like during, in the motion of me taking the dog out, all the police was pulling up.
All right. What do you remember here?
Just a whole lot of yelling. I couldn't make out exactly what it was. I was still half asleep. And I just kind of laid there until I heard it kind of die down or move away from where I could hear it. And then I got up and took the dog out.
Did you have any interaction with your sister that morning?
Not before she told me that Quentin was missing.
And where were you when she told you that? As far as you
downstairs in the parking area.
Out the driveway?
Yeah, next to the driveway, next to the garage.
Okay. And what she look like at that point?
Complete mess, complete wreck. Trying to figure out where her baby was.
And what happened from there?
She had called the babysitter over to see if she saw anything, if she knew anything. And then the police was showing up at the same time as the babysitter had just showed up. And then the next thing I know, Danny's showing up.
And did you help look for Quentin?
Didn't get a chance to.
What do you mean?
By the time that everything was going on, we all got told we had to go down to police annex, and we was interrogated for over 17 hours by the FBI.
Did you 17 hours?
Yes, I kept track of it because they were supposed to get me pizza. I'm still mad about my pizza 2 years later.
I think we saw you on some video bringing your sister some.
God damn it, this guy is the best witness ever. He waited 17 hours in FBI interrogation for his pizza, and he's still pissed 2 years later he didn't get his pizza from the FBI. Oh my crap, this guy is This guy is so good. Even Sarah Boone's, I called her Sarah Boone again. Even LEILANI Simon's lawyer was laughing. I don't know if you saw that. There was like half his face in the camera shot a bit ago, and he was smiling and chuckling at this guy. That's brilliant. I'm still mad about my pizza 2 years later.
Food at some point.
Yeah, then they bought the pizza afterward.
Okay. So you got some food that day in any case?
Yeah, because I bought it.
Okay. Because you bought it?
Yeah.
Did you buy it?
I DoorDashed it. After 12 hours of sitting there being interrogated, people get hungry.
Okay. So,
stop it.
Regardless of whether you had a good time there,
No, stop. No, this motherfucker is not real. About my own damn pizza. Oh, holy crap. Oh. Oh. I'm going to have enough of these YouTube shorts from this guy to last me through the end of the goddamn year at this rate. Please, Mr. Defense Lawyer, please cross-examine this guy for hours. Just please do that for me. Honest to God, Jill, this is hands down the best witness I've ever seen in my entire YouTube career, and probably my entire life, if I'm going to be honest. Oh, holy shit. This guy is just, all right. Let's go. Oh, God, please. Let me see how much longer we've got with this witness. Oh, we've got a bit. It looks like I got about 30 more minutes with this guy. Cool.
Right, with the police questioning, the FBI questioning?
Anything they asked me, I told them whatever I knew.
Okay. And did that continue to be the case over the coming days and weeks?
Yes, sir, even while they hooked me up to the lie detector test and everything.
One moment, please, John.
Oh. My Lord. Oh, I can't.
No, this might be a good time for a short break. May I just finish up a couple of things, John?
Yes.
Okay. Do you look? I'd like to approach with what I've marked as State's Exhibit 90. I'm showing you what I've marked as State's Exhibit 90. Okay.
And let me just say, so that everything can be on the record. So Mr. Simon just apologized for not responding yes or no, and that's fine.
Okay.
Okay.
Can you take a look at these messages starting from the back, actually, and tell me if you recognize them?
Mm-hmm.
Is he single and available? Perfect boyfriend. Oh dear. Oh man. Oh.
Okay, so these are not text messages between me and Melanie. These are text messages between me and a coworker, and about a girl that thought that I was making a rumor about her, and I wasn't, and she threatened to hit us with her car. So we all kind of dipped out of there really fast.
Is this something that happened at work before?
Yes, this was
somebody
nothing related
threatened to run him
Melanie
over.
or Danny or anything like that.
I wouldn't.
Yeah.
Okay. Your Honor, I would like to introduce this as State's Exhibit 90. No objection.
Okay. Exhibit 90 submitted.
Let me just ask you this. On the last page here, do you see this message where this person asks you at 11:40 p.m. what time you going in tomorrow?
I said 12 because I was already planning on going in early regardless because I needed the extra money.
And that response from you was at 11:40 p.m.
That's why I was already getting up. But then when they asked me to come in, it made it even easier to come in without asking for permission from the boss.
Okay. And this was on the night of October 4th, right?
Yes, sir.
Were you already up in your room at this point?
Yes, sir. He had texted me after I had laid down to go to bed.
Okay. And was this your last phone activity that night?
Yes, sir.
And Your Honor, if I have not already formally offered 88, I would do so at this time. Those were the Paul Simon, Daniel Young text messages.
I believe it may already be in. Madam Clerk?
That's correct.
Thank you.
And is that the case for 88, 89, and 90?
Not 90.
90 is just admitted.
90 was just a minute. Okay. One moment, please. No further questions, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. So there's mention of a break. I think this is a good time for a break. The time is 3:13. Let's come back at 3:30.
Oh, let's do that. Oh my God. I need a break from that. Oh. We've been making jokes about Paul Simon since the trial started. Who thought that this guy would out joke all of us? Oh man. All right. Let's see if I have anything to read here. No, I don't. Yeah, Jillian says many shorts with his witness. Yeah, I read that. Okay. Nothing else to read. I guess we'll jump back into this. Just a quick friendly reminder to all of you in chat. We got 476 of you watching this brilliant witness, the brother of the accused. Make sure you, if nothing else, make sure you give the stream a like because you got to hear that testimony. Wow. All right, let's fast forward through the break here. Let me not boomer this, please. Oh man. Oh, he's taking off the hoodie. He's slightly disrobed. Getting a little warm. All right. Oh God. How long have we been going? 2 hours. We should shut this down, but you know what? Ain't no way in hell I'm shutting this down right now. No worries, Chad. How much longer do we have left in the day? 8:18. We can't go 2 more hours. We'll go a sufficient amount of time. Oh my God. All right, let's go. Man. You tell him,
All right,
Dionne
Simon,
Warwick.
please have a seat.
We got Dionne Warwick and
you are
Paul
still
Simon.
under oath. Mr. Simon, sorry. Go ahead and have a seat, Ms. Simon. So we're back on the record now in SPCR 22-03364J6, the state of Georgia versus LEILANI Marie Simon. Mr. Simon has taken his place once again on the stand. He understands he's still under oath. And Mr. Simon, you mentioned earlier about polygraph. There's been a motion in limine which the court is granting. Do not mention polygraph. I don't expect you to be asked any questions, but don't volunteer any answers, any responses about a polygraph. Do you understand? Have any questions? All right. Is the state ready to proceed?
The state is ready, Your Honor.
Is the defense ready to proceed?
The defense is ready, Judge.
That was a no-no.
You're fine, Mr. Simon. Thank you very much, though. Mr. Hilliard, I believe you have Mr. Simon on cross. When we have them. Jurors, please. Thank you, Solomon.
Yeah, we need the jurors. Please, pan up, camera, pan up. Thank you. Yeah, we need the jurors. They're an important part of the trial, Judge. Oh. Right, let's.
Thank you. Let's see, Mr. Hilliard.
cross-examination of Paul
Hi,
Simon.
my name's Martin Hilliard. How are you, sir?
I'm doing good. How about you?
I'm pretty good. No complaints. I've got some questions for you, and I'm probably going to start on October 5th and work back a little bit. You were already at home on the morning of October 5th?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you said you woke up, you went outside, took your dog outside.
Yes, sir.
I'm just going to kind of approach the witness and show him State's Exhibit real quick.
I'll show you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 9. If you would, the upstairs bedroom that you stay in.
Which bedroom is that? Does it overlook the pool? Does it overlook the front yard, the side yard?
It overlooked the pool and the driveway.
Okay.
Because the way the bathroom was faced was towards the outside driveway.
Okay.
Then the room I was in faced towards the inside of the driveway.
All right. So based upon what you're looking at right there,
I'm looking at a necklace and a half on this dude.
By the living room.
By the living room?
Right above it.
Okay. And so you can look out over the pool and the patio and the parking area, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. And this other bedroom right here.
Look towards the front.
Towards the front.
Yes, sir.
Just trying to get an orientation. All right. So you were at home that night around the night of October 4th, around 11:40. Was a text message between you and your coworkers that Mr. Dean was just talking about, correct?
Yes, sir.
You remember sending that?
Yes, sir.
Were you awake?
I was trying to go to sleep, so I was kind of trying to end the conversation pretty fast.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Because I was already laid down at 11 to go to sleep, and so when the text message came through, it kind of woke me up a little bit.
Okay.
And so I was just trying to get it done and over with, but yeah, I was a little bit awake.
All right. Well, let's just talk about that. So you were a little bit awake. Did you hear any doors opening or closing, or a ruckus, or anything going on at that point in time?
No, sir.
Okay. And I don't know because I don't know anything about the house, but if the door for the living room or the dining room open or closed, can you hear that from upstairs or no?
You can hear a car door shut, but you can't really hear the door shut unless it's slammed.
Okay. So if the dining room door, the living room door shut, you wouldn't necessarily hear it.
No, sir.
And I'm not trying to put words in your mouth, but if there's a car door outside.
There he goes
you
again.
definitely hear it.
Yes.
Okay. And so did you hear that at any point in time that evening?
Around about 11:20, I heard a car door shut, and it was LEILANI coming back in from getting cigarillos. And I just kind of laid there and ignored it because I just finished my episode and I was heading to bed.
Okay. So about 11:20, you heard the car door shut. Now, in the morning times, do you hear when anybody leaves for work?
No, sir. Okay. Being passed out. I don't have to work, and I don't really hear a whole lot.
Understandable. So you slept through the morning of October 5th till about 9:30, correct?
I woke up about 8:30, but I laid there until 9.
Okay. And you, at that point in time, had you heard anything?
I heard a little bit of yelling, but like I said, that was an everyday thing, so I just didn't pay no attention to it and laid there until I heard it move away where I couldn't hear it. Then I got up and let the dog out. And that was about 9 o'clock was when I got up.
And you said you heard some yelling. What yelling did you hear?
I just heard LEILANI screaming, but I didn't know what she was screaming about or nothing like that. I just heard screaming.
Mm-hmm. And you were taking the dog out when that happened?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you said the police showed up and Daniel showed up, correct? And you said that you heard the yelling and the police showed up, and you said that LEILANI was a complete mess, correct?
Yes, sir.
How about Daniel?
He wasn't really phased. He didn't look phased. He left work in a hurry, but other than that, the whole time he was more worried about what was going to happen to him throughout the whole thing, from what I saw.
Ooh, interesting.
I mean, 3 days after it happened, he's up in North Carolina just that quick. Boom, gone.
Ooh.
I mean, that just strikes me as not good, not right behavior when you're supposed to be.
Oh, when they make an objection.
Yeah.
Just a moment, I'm sorry. Was there an objection?
There was an objection, Judge. So.
Mr. Dean?
Non-responsive.
Sustained.
Mr. Simon,
Just a moment.
you have to let me ask the questions and you have to answer them, okay? So,
he's kind of pointing the finger at Danny now. Interesting. It's gonna be interesting to see where this goes all of a sudden. Things just got real. Them going, yeah, Danny was worried about him, and then he effed off like 3 days later. That's kind of weird.
So you were there that day, and you were there all day, correct? On October 5th.
Yes, sir. Until the police took us.
Right. So you said when Danny got there, he seemed unfazed.
Mhm.
Okay. You said LEILANI was a mess, correct?
Yes, sir.
Now, did you answer all the questions that were put to you that day?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And I'm curious, at this point in time, how long had you known Daniel Youngkin?
About 4 months. All I really knew about him before that was that he was the one of Leilani's baby daddies. That's all I knew about him before that.
One of Leilani's baby
and when did you
daddies.
move into the house on Buckalter Road?
In about April, right after my birthday.
So April of 2022?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And this was in October of 2022, right?
Yes, sir.
So, and I guess when you moved in, Danny and LEILANI and the kids were already there.
Yes, sir, they were.
Okay. Now, did you ever notice Danny and LEILANI either using drugs or drinking?
Danny drunk every day.
Right.
He'd be riding down the road drinking a Fireball, a little shot, consistently every day.
All right. And not being judgmental, but and LEILANI smoked.
Yep, smoke weed.
And you did too.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever see him do anything else?
No, sir.
Okay. And if anything else was done,
I would have told my mom.
Okay. So that was not something you knew about.
No, sir.
Right.
And I believe that Leilani knew that, and that's why she constantly tried to hide it from me. That she was doing something that she didn't want me to know of.
Okay. And same thing for Danny, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
I'm starting to think old Paul here doesn't like anybody.
Was it uncommon for the back door? I mean, again, if you don't know, that's fine. But how did you normally come in and out of the house? When you
through the back door.
Okay. And was that pretty much how everyone entered the house?
Yes, sir.
And was it uncommon that those doors would be unlocked?
Normally, since I was the one that got off work, the last one to be home, it would be locked whenever my stepdad would be home. But if it was everybody else, I would be the one that locked the door before I went up to bed.
So, and that's kind of what I was doing too. Normally, you were the one who locked the door when you came in at night,
Yes,
right?
sir.
And do you have any recollection doing so this particular night, the
Yes,
night
sir.
of October 4th?
I locked it when I came in, and I went in and talked to Danny, and then went to bed.
And again, not being judgmental, but you smoke blunts. Do you smoke cigarettes, Paul?
I used to.
Okay. When did you quit?
About 3 years ago when I.
You don't want to be judgmental about him smoking blunts, but good Lord, you spent an hour grilling Danny about his bluntiness and the cocaine.
Started vaping.
So you gave up cigarettes and started vaping.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. How about Leilani? She smoked cigarettes?
Yes, sir.
And how about Danny?
Yep.
Okay. And whenever they were smoking at the house, where would they normally go to smoke?
Either the front or the back.
Were there ashtrays out there?
There was ashtrays in the back on the back porch, and there should have been one on the front porch. But Leilani started smoking after a few months of them moving down in that room.
Now, you said you came in the night of October 4th, and you saw Quentin, Zane, and Sky.
Sky was in the little swing thing where that's where she kind of just slept in that.
Mm-hmm.
Zane was in his race car bed in the corner of the wall, and Quentin was right at the foot of the bed in the playpen.
And they were all good at that point in time?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And had you ever seen, you said Danny seemed agitated when you got home. Anything abnormal, or is it just his normal?
It was just his normal whining and complaining, but he just, like I said, he just seemed a little bit more agitated. But I was like, don't worry, man. She's going to be back here in a while. Just roll up the road.
Did you ever see LEILANI that evening?
I did not. I had already went to bed before I had saw her.
Okay. All right. And did you ever hear them two arguing or bickering at any point in time that evening?
No, sir.
Okay. That's all the questions I got, Judge. Thank you, Mr. Simon.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Dean, any redirect?
One moment, please.
No questions, Your Honor.
Mr. Simon, is there any reason not to excuse Mr. Simon?
Not on behalf of Ms. Simon.
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Simon, you are excused, sir.
Wow.
The state may call its next witness.
Melanie Bowling, Your Honor.
Okay.
That was a witness and a half. Melanie Bowler, did you say? Melanie Bowling. Okay.
Please, the clerk, raise your right hand, please.
The evidence you shall give the court and jury in the trial of this issue shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
This way, ma'am.
Introduce yourself to the jury.
My name is Melanie Bowling. I am 28 years old, and I'm a mama.
What is your city and state of residence? What town do you live in?
Glenville, Georgia.
And how long have you lived in Glenville?
Going on 8, almost 9 years now.
Are you a little nervous?
I am, I'm sorry.
I'm always a little nervous in court too. It's all right. If you need a break at any point, just let me know.
Yes, sir.
Do you know the defendant?
I do.
How do you know her?
She used to live in the same neighborhood as me.
In Glenville, I presume?
Yes.
When you met her, how many children, if any, did she have at that point?
When I first met her, she had no kids.
And how did you meet her?
I met her through her ex-boyfriend, Cody Warden, which is her first child's father. I met him first because he lived out there and they started dating, and that's how I met her. And I looked at her and him as like little siblings that I wanted to help guide in the right direction.
Well, that didn't work.
But that's how I met her.
And did you all live near one another for a period of time?
We did. We were right next door for a period of time, and then there was a period of time where she lived like walking distance from where I lived.
Okay. And then at some point, did she move away from Glenville?
Yes.
Okay. At the time that she moved away, did she have any children?
Yes, she had Zane.
So the time that she moved in near you would have been sometime shortly before Zane's birth?
Yes, it was about maybe 6 months or so before she got pregnant with him.
Before she got pregnant?
Yes.
And then was she living next to you, or next door to you during her pregnancy?
Yes.
And did she continue to live next door to you during the time that she actually had Zane?
Well, down a little bit, down the dirt road a little bit, but yes, it was still in the same neighborhood.
Okay, so you're saying by the time she had Zane, she moved walking distance away?
Yes.
Was no longer right next door?
Yes.
Okay. Let's talk about this. Let's kind of take chunks of time. Tell me about the nature of your relationship with her before she ever had Zane.
Well, I mean, you know, like I said, Cody, I met him first, and he was going through a hard time. So, like, my husband and I took them in as, took him in as like a little brother to help guide in the right direction. She started dating him, and, I got good vibes from her at first. I never suspected anything bad, and I kind of try to guide her in the right direction too. She ended up falling pregnant, and when she did, she was pregnant, and I can relate to that because I was a teen mom myself.
It's like a disease, just
So I wanted
fall
to help
pregnant.
her in any way possible to, with her child and be that support.
Were you friends with her during her pregnancy with Zane?
I was.
And did you remain friends with her after she gave birth to Zane and had him as a newborn?
I did, yes.
And did you all spend time together during both of those time periods?
Yes.
Did you spend time with her around both her and Zane?
Yes.
Okay. Were you all still living in the same town at the time she gave birth to Quentin?
No. I was, but she wasn't.
Okay. Can you tell me where she was and when she had left in relation to when she had Quentin?
So I know her and Cody moved to Alabama. That happened. Then I guess they broke up. She came back to Georgia to, I think, Waycross or somewhere, wherever Bubba Moss is from.
Waynesboro, sound right?
Waynesboro, yes, sir. I'm sorry, I get those mixed up. And she came back and she was staying with him in a camper, and she fell pregnant. They split up and she went back to Alabama, and Cody helped her.
And during, you've talked about your contact with her during the time she lived near you.
Yes.
Right, in the same town.
Yes.
Did you all have daily or near daily contact at that point?
When she was pregnant with Quentin, it was about almost every other day, if not weekly.
Well, I want to ask specifically about when she lived in the same town as you.
Yes, every day.
Okay,
Yes,
every
sir.
day at that point.
Yes.
And then after she moved, and I understand it sounds like she bounced around a little bit.
She did.
What was the nature of your contact with her after she moved?
Sounds like she bounced around a
Text
lot.
message and phone call, FaceTime.
And how frequently did you say that you would have contact with her?
So when she got with Bubba, it kind of drifted off a little bit. And I don't know why. I can't tell you why, but we drifted off a little bit. And then she would, we contact out the blue. She called me, I text her, I call her, she texts me, vice versa, just to see how we are doing, I always checked in on her to see if she was doing okay, if the kids were okay, how they're doing, how big they're getting, stuff like that.
Did you talk to her on the phone regularly during her pregnancy with Quentin?
Yes.
About how?
She updated me with every appointment that she had.
Did she talk to you during those phone calls about things that were going on in her life?
Yes.
And tell me again how you viewed the nature of your relationship with her.
I viewed her, like I said, as a little sister that I wanted to help guide in the right direction.
So you're close.
Yes.
During her pregnancy with Quentin, well, you're having this regular telephone contact with her.
Mm-hmm.
Did it include calls?
Yes.
Did it include text messages?
Yes.
Did it include FaceTime?
Yes, a couple of times so I could see Zane.
Did you ever catch up over fairly long phone calls, or are we talking about 1 or 2 minutes?
No, these were hour-plus long phone calls.
And that's during her pregnancy with Quentin?
Yes.
During that type of contact that you described, did she talk to you about the state of her relationship with Quentin's father, Henry Bubba Moss Jr.?
It was rocky. They were fighting a lot. Then was a time where they did break up, and she was depressed. Made some comments to me that were concerning, but they fought a lot.
Like what kind of comments?
The comments which I, at the time, wanted to think maybe she was depressed and going through something. That was my thought process, but thinking of it now, I don't know. But she would say how she wished maybe if I didn't have Quentin, if I would have had the abortion like Bubba wanted me to, he would still be here.
Now, is that something she said to you after Quentin had been born?
Excuse me, what?
She has mentioned it after and while she was pregnant, yes.
Okay. And how did you react to those kind of comments?
It shocked me. I mean, I was like, what?
I just did.
3 kids myself. I'm not the one to judge, someone on abortions and stuff, but she didn't want to have one, and that's on her. Okay. But
okay.
I did not. It was really shocking. I didn't agree with it, in my opinion. That's my opinion.
I want to ask you a couple more questions about those kind of remarks.
Yes.
You said that she made those remarks before Quentin was born and after Quentin had been born?
Yes.
Roughly how many times would you say you remember her saying things like that?
Off the top of my head, but while she was pregnant with him and right after he was born, I'd say about 2 or 3 times.
Okay. And you said that the nature of the comment was maybe if I had had the abortion, Bubba would still be with me. And that was a remark she made both before Quentin was born and after he was born.
Yes.
Can I conclude from that then that Bubba had already left her before Quentin was born?
Yes.
There's at least, sounds like 1 or 2 times where she said this, while Quentin was a newborn.
Yes, a newborn and while he was older too.
Now, I want to kind of move forward in time. Did you remain in contact with her?
Where in the history, Bubba is Quentin, the dead baby's father.
Yes.
Okay. And let's say from, between Quentin's birth to October of 2022, how often would you say you were in contact with her during that time frame? And I understand it's like a year and a half.
Yeah. So, trying to think. So she came to my son's party in 2019 with Danny. I asked her to bring the boys, and she said that her mom had them. I'm sorry, but I'm trying to remember.
That's fine.
What was the question again, sir?
Okay. About how often were you? Let's just talk about, I don't know, the the year leading up to October of 2022.
Okay.
When Quentin is no longer a newborn, okay?
Yes.
How often would you be in contact with her at that point?
At that point, so it could be weekly sometimes, and then it would jump from weekly to monthly. And then I would have to be in contact with her. I would sometimes not get any contacts back for a few months. Then it come out the blue, she'll contact me and we can go from talking to each other for like 2 weeks straight, and then there'd be gaps again.
But in any case, it sounds like you never cut off contact completely.
No.
And would you, during this time frame, would you still sometimes have these long, extended phone conversations with her?
We did.
And would she talk to you about things that were going on in her life?
Yes.
And could you hear the children in the background at times?
Always.
Was there ever a time on any of these calls that you heard anything concerning directed towards Quentin?
I mean, besides, may I repeat what was said? It's cursing. Or should I word it?
Your responses, you may give it.
Yes, ma'am. I wanted your permission.
So the rules here are, if you're, quoting, we would ask that you not just like insert your own.
No, I just want what she exactly
If
said.
you're quoting somebody, yeah, tell us what you heard.
Okay. There's been times when she has been getting on to Quentin, saying, "Will you get the fuck down, you stupid little shit." She will call them assholes, "You little assholes. I told you to go do this. Now go do what the fuck I said before I beat your ass." Called him a bastard child out of anger.
Well.
Because he was doing something like climbing on the table, and she told him to get down several times. And she's like, this is why I wish I never had you. Wish I would have aborted you, and stuff like that.
Holy shit.
And I just want to make it clear the circumstances in which you're here.
Yeah, this is going to be a brutal
Are you physically
cross-examination.
present with her when you're giving these things?
No, sir.
You're on the phone with her.
Yes.
And you can hear her saying these things over the phone.
Yes.
Let's kind of break these things down. You said something about her calling him a bastard child and said
Yes.
something about his dad.
Yes.
Tell us what you remember about that.
I know when she would get really frustrated with him that she can be unpredictable and say things very harshly that a normal mother would not say. And about, I wish I never had you. Wish I would have had an abortion. So I wish I never had your dad. Got with your dad, so I would have never had you. Stuff like that.
And are you sure she was referring to Quentin?
Yes.
And how do you know that?
Because she would yell, "Quentin, what the fuck did I just tell you?" And then go on with what I just said.
I think you also mentioned asshole. Or something.
Yes, asshole. For him acting like a 15-year-old.
By monetization, it was nice knowing you.
Like an asshole.
Could you tell over the phone what he was doing, or if anything, or what was going on that caused her to have these outbursts?
I could hear the kids playing, screaming, running around, like what kids do. I have 3 kids myself, 2 boys and a daughter. So boys being boys, they get rough with each other. And, that happens. Okay. But instead of hey, you guys can keep your hands to yourself, time out and do the separate them or whatever, she would start cussing and snapping and yelling and calling names. Now,
how would you react, if at all? I don't know whether you.
I was speechless, sir. I mean, I would try to be like, "Hey, calm down. You're just mad. You don't need to be saying those kinds of things. You don't mean it," thinking, she didn't mean it. That was my assumptions. Okay. But I would try to calm her down and be like, "Hey, chill out. Take a breather. They're just kids. They're little kids."
Speaking of chilling out and taking a brief little breather, we have Duncan, Idaho, gifting 5 Legal Vices memberships to Christina Alderson, Frank Reeve, Robin R., Kitty Stalker, I like that, and Unbronzed Aussie Laura. You guys got gifted memberships from Duncan, Idaho. Give Duncan, Idaho a super special thanks for that. And thank you so much, Duncan, for the support, for trying to banish the gray from the chat. Thank you so much.
This is going to happen.
Did you ever hear anything that sounded? I mean, you've talked about what you've talked about to this point. Would you characterize it as verbal abuse?
Yes, and I've heard her whip them, but I can't, like I said, it's whoopings, so I don't know if she's using her hand on their butt. I don't know what she's using. It's on the phone call.
Okay, so for that, you're saying you can't say whether it was or was not reasonable parental discipline?
Exactly.
But you've heard stuff like that?
Yes.
Was it overall, based on all your interactions with her and all your observations, did you develop the impression that she felt differently about Quentin than she did about Zane?
Yes, because every time I would speak to her, she would always speak highly about Zane and her youngest one after she was born, but never about Quentin, even though he was the sweetest little thing ever.
What kind of things would she say about Zane?
talking about, oh, how well he is, how smart he is, how he knows his ABCs, 1, 2, 3s, so on and so forth, the potty training, stuff about Cody and her, just talking highly about him and how good he's doing from when I last seen him as a little baby.
And do you remember hearing anything like that about Quentin?
No.
Just to be clear, did you ever yourself physically meet Quentin?
No, I have never physically met Quentin, no.
And is that because you all didn't? You all had already she had moved away
Right.
at the time before she had.
But yes, but I have FaceTimed him after he was born and seen him, I FaceTimed him and Zane and Sky when she was a little baby too.
One moment, please.
Yes.
She's getting the vapors. Yeah, some of you pointed out. Well, that's it. Wow, that was quick. All right, I'm not going to break this up. I was planning on shutting it down here after the direct examination and doing cross-examination tomorrow, but I'm expecting some fireworks here, not just from what people in chat have been alluding to in their spoilers, but I just think it. She holds back nothing. And as several of you pointed out in chat, she is likely not on Leilani's Christmas list anymore. And Mama Laurie, $10 Canadian for the swear jar. Yeah, thanks. We need it. All right, let's hear the cross.
You said that you met Miss Simon in 2019 with Danny.
No, I met her in 2017, 2018 when she was dating Cody.
All right, maybe I misheard. You said you met her in 2019 at a birthday party with Danny.
She brought Danny to my son's birthday party that I invited her and her children to come to in 2019.
Okay, so.
Okay. Melanie does not like the defense lawyer. I think we've established that already. This is going to be lawfare here. This is going to be legal combat. Finish him.
You're saying that Danny Youngkin attended a birthday party with you in 2019 with Miss Simon, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And that's the hill you're going to die on.
I believe that was Danny, yeah. That's who it looked like.
Right. Are you aware that she didn't meet Mr. Youngkin until 2020?
So that's not what I'm not aware of. That's because she brought that man to my birthday party.
Well, you just sat here under oath and said it was Danny Youngkin.
That's what she told me that was his name, Danny, that she was bringing through messages on Facebook Messenger, sir.
Ms. Bowling, when was the last time you actually physically, let me ask you this. When did you ever physically meet Quentin Simon?
I never physically met him.
Asked and answered. She already said that. Heather Sparrow dropping the $5. This is going to get good, I can tell. Heather Sparrow just dumped 5 Legal Vices memberships on y'all. And thank you so much for that support, Heather Sparrow. And those went to Debbie Minton, Distracted C, Sparks, Steve C, and Shannon Madsen. Give Heather a super special thanks, and let's see how this little bit of legal combat goes. And for some reason, just judging by their personalities, I'm thinking she's going to come out on the winning end of this.
Okay. So in 20 months of his life, you never once saw him in person, correct?
Correct.
So,
right. And when was the last time prior to that you had met and hung out with Miss Simon?
Prior to his birth.
His birth.
Okay. Prior to his birth was the birthday party, 2019.
Okay. So at least 2.5 years prior, well, maybe a year and a half prior to his birth then?
Well, actually, that was.
No.
Yeah, roughly, yeah.
Okay. So at that point in time, had Zane been born?
Yes.
Okay. So now you said that originally y'all would talk every day.
Mm-hmm.
Then it was weekly. Then it was every other week. Then it was monthly. Then it was every few months. Correct?
Correct.
Okay. Not really a strong friendship there, is it?
Oh, shut up.
Well, sir, we did have a very strong friendship, but again, like I've said before,
I have friends that I don't talk to for 6 months, sometimes a year, sometimes multiple years. But then when you get back in contact and you talk like you never missed a beat. So that's a really stupid thing. And I'm sure the jurors know that that's a dumb thing to say.
before, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. And the path she was going down was a path that I clearly could not help her out.
Hey, Ms. Bowling, you and Miss Simon started smoking weed together in 2017. So let's not pretend this is some sort of
Oh,
Sunday
yeah,
school.
you're
thing.
right, sir. Okay. But the thing is, I never done cocaine. I never did ecstasy, nor pills.
Okay.
Boom.
That was in 2017, sir.
That was.
That was a long time ago. And I don't anymore.
Okay. Well, congratulations to you. And that
Holy
being
crap.
said, was that the reason y'all hung out, was to smoke weed together?
No. The reason well, maybe for her, because she likes to use people. But to me, it was, hanging out with Cody, helping him get back on his feet because of what he had to endure and go through at that time, which is a different matter from this court.
You have some rather unique beliefs, don't you, Miss Bowling?
Beliefs.
Yes.
Can you define that, please, or elaborate it for me, please?
I can. Do you remember meeting with Mr. Dean on August 13th of this year?
Yes.
Okay. Do you remember telling him about some experiences you had on August 13th and conveying those to him?
Yep.
Okay. And so, correct me if I'm wrong, but did you not tell him that you had communed with Quentin Simon's ghost?
Yes. And if you would like.
Time out. Time out. Whoa. Okay. I swear to God, what is happening today? All right. Okay. I'm game. I do not, I personally have my beliefs in ghosts and spirits and demons and things like that. So I'm willing to give her the Art Bell benefit of the doubt. Let's hear her story and see where this goes, or ghosts. Let's see where this testimony goes.
Remember meeting with Mr. Dean on August 13th of this year?
Yes.
Okay. Do you remember telling him about some experiences you had on August 13th and conveying those to him?
Yep.
Okay. And so, correct me if I'm wrong, but did you not tell him that you had communed with Quentin Simon's ghost?
Yes. And if you would like, I can actually do it here.
Oh, no.
Oh, please, by all means. I would love to see this.
Give me a holy Bible and a candle. Yes, sir.
So, that being said, you told Mr. Dean this, correct?
I sure did.
And you said,
no. I can show you. Give me a holy Bible and a candle, and we'll just go for it right here in court. Holy God. Duncan, I don't remember for 20 months. I made friends in the Navy. I'll speak to maybe twice a year anymore, but I'd do anything for those people. And we always pick up as if no time has passed. I have, yeah, exactly. Island with the $2. This trial woke up and said, boring, hold my beer. Oh my Lord. Yeah. And I thought this would be a trial where there was nothing to laugh about, nothing to joke about, nothing that would be, well, I certainly didn't have, I can communicate with Quentin's ghost right here in court if you want me to, as being part of this trial. Damn. Today is a day.
correct me if I'm wrong, your husband videotaped the seance, correct?
He did.
And anytime I'm making a misstatement as to what you said that Quentin Simon spoke to you through a candle.
He spoke to me through images. Okay. When I was in my trance, I couldn't see anything except for what he was showing me and what he was telling me as a 15-month-old could do.
Okay. And so he was a 15-month-old ghost speaking to you. Please tell me about this. I would love to hear it.
Okay. So this is what I did. And I lit my candle, had my Bible out, and I prayed. I asked if I could reach out to Quentin Simon. And here he comes. Behold. Do I see him physically? No. But here he is. And he is Mama Mel. That's what I was always called by them. Mama Mel, help me. I said, with what? I said, help me help you. What happened? He said, Mommy hurt me. I asked him, how did he hurt you? or how did she hurt you? Sorry. And he told me she hit me in the head really hard. I said, okay. I was like, what else? And I said, did you, get any candy thinking maybe he got into drugs or something? And he said, no. I said, okay, where are you? And he threw me the star of the church that's next to the landfill on that dirt road right there next to Little Neck Road on the dump. He showed me exactly where he was in that pile with his arm hanging out, lifeless, gray, and there's blood in a bag that looked like it used to be like a bluish purple color. And he's throwing up blood. After I close out the seance, I prayed and I said, I wish you peace and to pass on peacefully, and we'll get the justice you need. Okay, I prayed, closed it out. That was that. Blew out the candle, turned on the lights, and my hoverboard that both my son had, that was completely destroyed because he took it through a mud puddle. When you take a hoverboard, electric hoverboard through a mud puddle, it's done. It started turning on and off by itself and moving, even though it's completely done for, and I've tried charging it and nothing.
And what date was this?
What day was that? That was, to be honest with you, is sometime in November of 2022. I don't know the exact date. I do not.
So this was after they announced they found remains in the landfill.
No, this is actually before the indictment report came out. I had the dream, which I told them already, but yes. Okay.
So it was in November, correct?
Roughly, maybe the end of October. It's in that time area. I also had a major craniotomy that year, so my memory's a little.
What's a craniotomy?
Where you have to have a major brain surgery. They take your skull off, Yeah.
So you had a craniotomy?
I did.
And you told all this to Mr. Dean?
To Mr. Yes.
Mr. Dean.
All right. I have to revise my opinion. This is a win for the defense. This is a win for the defense. I think we can safely say that she has been discredited as a witness. Not because what she said may not have happened. I'm just saying the average juror is going to hear that she had major brain surgery where they removed her skull, and then she started doing seances with the ghost of the murdered baby. I'm going to say that's kind of a good path for discrediting your witness for having reliable memories and things. Oh, wow. None of us had ghosts on our bingo cards, as Heather Sparrow, member for 21 months. And Duncan, Idaho with the 5. I have a special place in my heart for slightly wacky ladies who believe in seances or healing crystals. They're great. And maybe, that's what I'm saying. Maybe, I'm not going to say it didn't happen. I'm just saying the average juror is going to look at her and go, okay, she has major brain surgery. They remove her skull. She can't remember things, but she did a seance, and the ghost was speaking to her through a candle, and then the broken hoverboard began turning on and off. I think this round has to be scored for the defense.
That's all the questions I have.
Oh, that was the end. Prosecutor Superman, you got a fuck ton of rehabilitation to do with his witness. This better be the most spectacular redirect in the history of redirects. Holy crap.
Melanie, is it fair to say that I brought you into my office to talk about concrete things that you heard the defendant say over the years about Quentin?
Yes.
Okay.
And that you volunteered the information about the seance, right?
I did. Because I don't know if you guys recognize that kind of stuff or not.
No.
And, do you remember me telling you?
No,
well,
we don't.
I have to
Not
tell
in
the
court.
defense about this because it's a thing you said as a witness, but that it's seance information is not admissible in court.
Exactly. Yes, sir.
And do you remember acknowledging pretty even-handedly that you understand that not everybody believes in these things?
I do. And that's why I didn't want to speak upon it like that. Yes, sir.
Now, you've said that you had a Bible with you when you were doing this.
Yes.
And it was a Christian Bible.
Yes, sir. I was baptized and raised as a Christian.
Do you remain a practicing Christian?
I sure do, sir.
Do you consider this some sort of a prayer practice, what you're describing?
Yes, sir. I mean, in a way.
Do you consider it a private matter?
A private matter? Yes.
How does it feel to come into court and essentially get made fun of for it?
You can be honest with you, it's kind of embarrassing because, like you said, not everybody believes in this kind of stuff. Unfortunately, I was born with a gift that I call a curse.
Now, does any of this have anything to do with the things that you heard her say about her son, both before and after his birth?
No, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, he did the best rehabilitation he could do under the circumstances. Still got to give this. I have to give this round to the defense. Like not, yeah. Shenanigans from Salt Lake City. Hey, psychics are the best part of this trial. Stop judging. Not judging her. Just saying the jurors are probably going to judge the shit out of her. Not me. I would like to hear more about this actually. And I've got candles and Bibles in my house, so. And hello from Salt Lake City. It's cold today. Just, are you sure it's not a ghost? It's the cold spot in the house. He's like, yeah, okay. So you did this thing that a lot of people are making fun of, but we talked about the concrete stuff, the things she was saying to her child on the phone, the things she was doing, and the things she told you before. Those are the important stuff, right? This other stuff, we're not talking about that. So he did the best he could, but got to give this witness to the defense. And it's not the prosecutor's fault. It's not a big win. I mean, it's not a big accomplishment for the defense lawyer. She kind of did it to herself.
Ms. Bowling, you're willing to hold yourself up to ridicule to get justice for Quentin, aren't you?
Excuse me?
Said you're willing to hold yourself up to public ridicule to get justice for Quentin, aren't you?
I guess so. I'm here to get justice.
Therefore,
for him,
you
so-
would lie.
What aren't you willing to do for Quentin's justice?
Well, I've done everything I can possibly for his justice.
Thank you so much.
Big win for the defense right there. You would do anything to put this woman behind bars. You would say anything to put this woman behind bars. And she responds, I've done everything I can to put this woman behind bars. Yep, this is a total win for the defense. Now, is it a big enough win for the defense that is going to turn the trial against the prosecution? No. We can take everything this woman said out of the picture, which I'm sure the jury is going to do, but it doesn't change what we've seen up to this point. So yeah, she's still going to go down.
Anything further from the state?
No.
Ms. Bowling, you excuse me.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right. Well, I think this is a good place to end. We're not gonna do better than that today. What do we got coming up next? We've got the defendant's former neighbor and the babysitter. No video. Oh, minor. Okay. So there, I guess we just have the audio or something. Wow. All right. Let's take that down for the day and put us up here. The doggos are sleeping, so I will remove Doggo from the picture and we'll just have a little chat here before we wrap this up. 450 people, 350 likes. Get down there and hit that like button, people. Oh my gosh. Wow. Let's see. Where are we here? Swamp Bear X says, Legal Vices, sorry, you're looking at it from the lawyer. You are not looking at it from the jury box, which I think is, I have looked at it from the jury box. That's why I was saying, from the lawyer side, it's a wash. It's a wash from you. All right, we don't need her. Believe it or not, it's not a big deal. From a lawyer standpoint, I don't have anything problem with what she said. But the jurors, as I said, the jurors are going to look at that and go, I would guess that the majority of the jurors aren't particularly believing the story that she conjured the ghost of Quentin through a candle in a seance videotaped by her husband to get justice. They're gonna side with the defense lawyer who says you're just a crazy loon that had brain surgery and had your skull removed and have memory problems, and you've just said you have done everything possible to lock this woman up, and you would do anything and say anything to achieve that goal. So looking at it from the juror's perspective, they hear that and they're going, but they disregard everything she said. That still doesn't change what they've heard up to this point. Got to give at least one witness in this trial to the defense. Is it surprising that the prosecutor used her? No, it's not surprising. Because as he said during the rebuttal, he was focusing on the things that didn't involve candles, ghosts, and seances. What she said on the telephone, the horrible thing she said to the child, the regrets she had about not aborting the child. That's damning testimony. It just sort of loses its credibility, I think, with the jury during the cross-examination. I think most of the jurors were like, Yeah, the jury's saying, what was that? Yeah, I'm kind of in that camp there. I'm not surprised. I think the defense lost the jury on that one. Exactly. I think they lost the jury on that witness. They didn't lose the jury for the case. You think the defense lost the jury on this one? Really? Defense lost the jury. Yeah, okay, I see what you mean. Yes, I agree. I think no. Really? Why? I mean, I'm curious. I'm still trying to find a way that you mean that the defense actually won that. Huh. Yeah, the $2 is, I think Leilani said all that stuff, though. I think she probably did. But yeah, I think she probably did say it. But I mean, at best, the jury's going to go, meh. She's kooky about some things, but some things okay. We'll just have to see. And Idaho Wiggles, it says that's your first super chat on a live stream. Idaho Wiggles, thank you very much for the first super chat on a live stream. Lots of Southerners believe in that sort of thing. Lots of people everywhere, South and North, believe that thing. But, Anywho, that's quite interesting. Like I said, I have a very open mind about stuff like that. I'm willing to listen to people and hear their story, but the jury of fluctuates because we, the jury, are everyday people and with individuals' beliefs, and the defense just basically shit on her. I feel like even though I don't believe it, she does. Yeah, but her testimony was the ghost of the child, showed her pictures and told her that mommy hurt me and did. I don't think that's going to carry a whole bunch of weight with the jury. But regardless of whether Oh, it can be used for the verdict. I mean, to say she is a non-credible witness, if that's how the jury feels about this sort of thing. They can say she was completely non-credible, she was full of shit, making this crap up, and therefore we just can throw out her testimony entirely. Even if they go to that extreme, there's still plenty left to convict LEILANI Simon. I mean, worst case, they throw out everything and they just completely disregard anything that she said because they find her completely uncredible. It's still well in the prosecution's bag to win this. Wow, I was not expecting this today. I was not expecting the brother. I was not expecting this to turn out the way it was. And there were a few little spoilers in chat about, ooh, just wait for cross-examination. As far as spoilers go, I was still surprised. I see Winterstorm. I believe you are correct. She's going down either way. Wow, today was not the day to miss. There's going to be plenty for me to clip from this and to keep my shorts going for quite some time. I still think someone should have said, the defense should have said, get a candle. Holy cow. Huh. Tanny Simmons, get back and watch the last two witnesses. That's all I got to say. Just watch the last two witnesses. Yeah, David Nelson, this trial went from depressing to entertaining. And as I said, I was kind of horrified by this trial, and I thought there would be we didn't do a bingo card because we never thought it would get to this point. We thought it would be too serious of a trial to find anything remotely laughable or jokeable or interesting or amusing. Today proved me wrong. It was a day. Wow. Yes, Tanny, just go back and watch the last two witnesses. I really got nothing after that. Today was a good day, people. Good grief. Oh my gosh. And you know what? I was just looking. We got one more thing to take care of. I was just adding up all the numbers from the gifted memberships, the purchase memberships, and the super chats, and I realized we made it to the second tier, just barely. We made it to the second tier goal, the punishment shot of the new of my last actual bottle of bad whiskey. For those of you that missed it at the beginning, we have my final bottle of really, really bad whiskey. Then I'll probably just have to actually buy on purpose a bottle of bad whiskey when we finish this one. But this is like the worst whiskey in the best bottle. It's a duty-free only bottle that you can only purchase from duty-free shops in Japan. It's a Nika whiskey, the samurai bottle. It's this lovely samurai bottle. I've got to figure out why my camera is not. There we go. Oh, we had it for a second. We had it for a second. Is it not going to focus again? There's just too much going on here. This is the Nika whiskey. Why are we? There we go. I wonder how close we can get it before it goes out of focus again. About that far. All right, this is a great bottle, metal samurai costume, but it is a terrible, terrible whiskey. And we got the label. Superb whiskey aged in wood. Well, yes, whiskey should be aged in wood. That's their selling point. Superb whiskey aged in wood, guaranteed. Well, who would guarantee this whiskey? Guaranteed by our own experts. It's so good, it was aged in wood, and it's guaranteed by their own experts. It's really bad. Great screw cap. Oh, it's open already. Oh, wow. I have dabbled in this. All right. It's not good. So this is our new bad whiskey. Oops, I put I put his armor on correctly. There we go. The Samurai Nika whiskey. How am I going to get this thing to autofocus on this bottle? There we go. There we go. Now you can see the Samurai there up top. It's a great bottle. It's a brilliant bottle, just not great whiskey. So cheers. Thank you very much for the super chats, the gifted memberships, the purchased memberships. We are here for the punishment shot. It's your reward to punish me for keeping the dogs behind a paywall, which I just don't do. We just unlock the achievement. I would never hold my dogs behind a paywall. That would be wrong. But for the 59th day, we hit the emotional support potato pig dogs, and cheers. It's just not good. Oh, and I've consumed most of my water. Ugh. I really hate that whiskey. I forgot about it. Whew. It may have been opened on an effing Friday. I believe it was. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna wrap this up and shut this bad boy down here now. Thanks for being here. Thanks for doing everything. I'm gonna head to bed. Tomorrow we'll be here for some more of this testimony. We'll get into day 5. We'll wrap up day 4, get into day 5, and then Friday evening U.S. time, I'll be up in a campground. It'll be Saturday morning, Saturday afternoon here. I'm targeting 10 p.m. Eastern. It could be as late as 11 p.m. Eastern on Friday, when I will be doing my live from the campground mukbang stream. We'll be eating some Korean noodles, some jjajangmyeon, a lot of it. Because I got like the mukbang size. I mean, seriously, this bowl of noodles is like this big. There looks to be about 6 portions in it. So we'll be doing the mukbang stream live from the campground. There will be no steaks cooked this time. I'm just going to eat that and hopefully not die and throw up. All right, that's it, everybody. Have a great night. Thank you for joining me for this really, really odd day. We'll see what tomorrow brings. Thanks for being here. Love you all. See you tomorrow, same time. Me, Lorax, saying peace out.